care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
This is one of the hottest show that we can ever miss in the morning, and it's a show that really gives a real situation in the Situation Room.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you guys so much. Ndu, nice meeting you. Even beautiful in person more than in photos.
Say that again. Character is like pregnancy. You cannot hide it. You know, people hiding here and there, you know, but after 2-3 months, 5 months, now you realize, so that is why the attitude that you were showing us, you're pregnant.
It's like what my grandmother would say, you cannot pickpocket a naked man.
How's that? It's communal, isn't it?
No comment. The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
3, 2.
Everybody, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Eiric Latifa, Muga, Madam Ndu, nimesalamia wote sana.
Tumepokea salamu, asante sana.
Hapa Garissa today the weather is very good, only that baridi inatupeleka mbio sana.
The baridi ni degree ngapi hapa?
Hata sijui, lakini madam tunakauka sana.
If you want to follow the money trail, you've got to think like a thief to be able to catch that thief.
A slap from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy. You remember the kiss of Judas Iscariot? Iscariot.
Yes.
He's the one that imetuweka kwa hii mashida yote na mataabu kwa sababu of that kiss. Yet the slap of Jesus Christ, when he slapped those guys wenye walikuwa wanauza mboga ndani ya kanisa, took them to heaven.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then, taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good morning. It's Friday. All right. What's happening on the streets this morning? Looking at coming off the Kisumu highway. Let's start there. Not much popping here, at least not for now. We'll probably see some traffic getting on later into the morning, but usually Fridays, not so bad. All right. Coming towards Globe Cinema at the roundabout, that's where there is some traffic and it's already starting to build. Yellow going towards red is probably what we will see. Taking a look at Jogo Road, that looks fine. Getting onto Landis, there will be traffic there, and it's already starting to show. On the Eastern Bypass, coming in through towards North Airport Road, you're fine all the way through and through. A quick look at Kangunda Road, and there's some traffic starting to build as you get towards Outer Ring. Apart from that, nothing else crazy. At a few minutes after 6 o'clock, let's see what happens as we get through the morning. We'll talk on SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eiric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Otherwise, yako iko aje, Ndu? It's Friday. It's Friday.
It is.
It is actually, yeah. Hey, jana budget, leo Epra. Hey, this life, my friend, no break.
Give us a break, man.
Where?
Allow us to what? Breathe.
Ish. Today is the 14th.
Today is the 14th of June. Yes, it is.
Unaonaje, mafuta inapanda ama inashuka?
Where? Well, it might as well fall into form with everything else. We've already been told.
Yeah?
We've already been told that it's going to go up. If they want to now increase the levy from 18 shillings to 25 shillings, and etc., then it looks like that's what's going to happen. That is going to go up. Even if it's not going to go up this 14th, we wait until July 14th.
Yes.
It's up that everywhere is going, Abi.
Yeah. Yeah. Mambo ikoje lakini?
Mimi niko poa.
Unaonaje huyu mzee?
Mimi namuona. Are you trying to whistle or are you breathing out?
I'm acclimatized to the cold chair.
Oh, it's cold. It is quite chilly this morning.
Yes. There's certain parts of my body that are not accustomed to this sort of cold.
We will not ask which.
Imagine in the morning when those hours when you wake up and you go and sit in that toilet.
Cold.
Inakuamsha straight.
You don't even need to think twice.
Inakuamsha straight.
And somehow I still take a cold shower in the morning.
Wewe uko na shida sasa.
Something wrong with you.
Just wewe sasa, by the way, we need to discuss this thing.
We need to discuss what?
There's something not fundamentally off.
Why?
Cold water.
How do you take a cold shower? At any time of day, any time of year.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Hot shower at night, cold shower in the morning. You're feeling cold on my behalf.
No, first of all,
yes,
I'm just thinking of a cold bath, first of all. Not bath as in bathtub, bath as in water in a basin. Okay? The first order of business is when you scoop the water, you HEPA it.
You throw it and then you run the
You duck.
Sounds like stuff my brother used to do when we were growing up. Oh, Kui, have you showered? Yes, I'm just hearing water. The boy comes up dry. Oh, Kui, and my brother's name is Kui, go and shower. I've showered. Nothing.
So he was near water.
And he splashed the water.
He splashed the water.
Sasa nini ingine?
Hey, my brother had antics, man.
Nini ingine mnataka?
It's the anticipation of what will happen or how you'll feel when the cold hits you. It's a not pleasant feeling.
No, I think he was just anti-water. Even if it was warm or hot or whatever, it was just
a
shower was
like
a problem.
Well, at least he understood the things he didn't like.
My friend, hii Kenya ni mbaya. Lakini kuna tuseme asante. That song. Kuna wimbo pale. Huo wimbo hule. I hope this thing will play. Unmute.
That normally helps.
Unasikiaje hiyo siti? Unasikiaje?
That song is it.
Just it, isn't it?
That is how you start a morning.
That is it. Sindio?
Yes, thank you.
Kabisa.
Thank you.
Sarah K. Nimekuja kusema asante. It doesn't matter whatever they do, is shauri yao. Sisi
tunasema asante.
Tunasema asante. We're grateful to God.
Yes, man.
Sindio?
Kabisa. Mimi nimekubali.
Salamu mingi sana I bring to you from many people who said hello to you. Last night I attended an event at the residence of the British High Commissioner to Kenya. So we start with Neil Wigan, the High Commissioner. Says, say hello to those chaps.
That's how to mini chap.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kiududo nyinyi yote. Salamu mingi. They were celebrating the official birthday of the king. King Charles III was born on the 14th of November. His birthday was yesterday.
wait. Just hold on a minute. His official birthday was yesterday. So there's another one that's unofficial. Abi, how?
That's his birthday. He was born on the 14th of November.
So then the official one was the 13th of June.
Yesterday.
You just pick a random date. Like, okay, even me now, my birthday is on the 25th of June. Then I say, so what?
March.
I decide that October 15th is my official. That's when you subjects will come and celebrate me.
That's how that royalty does it. Huh?
Even me, I'm royalty.
Yes, that's something. That's why I'm specific. I said that's how that royalty does it. Okay. Now, this royalty, how do you guys do it?
I've decided, but I've just decided October 15th officially.
You're a pick like that, huh?
Yeah, so you guys now
we need to start organizing ourselves.
Paying homage to me. Prepare for that date. This one for 25th of June is just next week. That one I can bring cake and things. October 15th now,
It's
that's
my
when
birthday.
everybody will come and now.
Apparently, this is actually a tradition over many years now in the UK. Because they notice that monarchs are born throughout the year, right? October, November, very cold. January, February, very cold. Celebrating a birthday in those very cold and dreary days, nothing. So they decided, whenever the monarch is born, Nisawa, you are to celebrate. But we shall be marking the monarch's birthday in the second week of June. It's warm, it's lovely, it's a moment that we can celebrate.
It's our birthday.
So even for the late Queen Elizabeth, the official birthday was always in June. However, she was born, I think, in March.
So essentially, official day coincides with weather.
Yes, they're particular about their weather.
You want.
Imagine.
You can decide that day is night and night is day.
This being monarchy is good.
Where?
Ndio?
You can even make time.
Exactly.
You can create your own time.
25 hours a day.
Today is Friday. We are going to have several conversations. Number one conversation is integrating technology with marketing. We'll be joined by Brenda Mwereshia. She is the CEO of a company called Peak and Dale Solutions Limited. Peak and Dale. Not Peak and Ale. Peak and Dale.
And it's not Piccadilly.
It's not Piccadilly.
Oh, the circus.
Right. So 7 a.m., Brenda joins us and she'll tell us more about this company. And then at 8 o'clock, we talk about, it's going to be our Health Friday conversation. What is happening to the youth along the coast? We are hearing their governors and their leaders complaining and saying, no. They are chewing these leaves and they're losing it. So what's happening to them? Mahmoud Noor is a founder and chief mentor at an organization called Swahilipot Hub Foundation. He is software engineer and he's been working with the youth in Mombasa and bringing the youth from Mombasa, Kwale, Kilifi and elsewhere around the coast and just working with them and mentoring them. So he'll come and tell us. When you hear all these issues about Mogoka, he has seen it firsthand working with his youth. He'll come and give us the experience. And then at 9 o'clock, International Day of the African Child. That's usually on the 16th.
16th, yes.
So 16th of June normally, yeah? So ahead of that day, which will be Sunday, we want to have a conversation today with the CEO of FAWE Kenya, Jeanette Nyanjom. She will come at 9 a.m. to talk to us about that. Hiyo ndio mutaratara ya leo. It's 21 minutes already after 6. And we want to hear what's happening with the weather and then say hello to everybody and then hear the proverb and then.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. The weather with SpiceFM.
Okay, cloudy in Nairobi at 13 degrees. We'll see highs of 25 and back down to lows of 13. It's clear at 13 in Nakuru, highs of 26, and we'll see highs of 24 in a partly cloudy Nyeri at 11. We're looking into a mostly clear Eldoret at 11 with highs of 25. And into Kisumu, Mombasa, it's clear at 22 with highs of 31. Malindi is cloudy at 26, highs of 30. And we're looking into a clear Kisumu at 19 with highs of 28 and lows of 18. Kakamega, clear at 16 with highs of 28. And in into Kampala, it's cloudy at 19 with highs of 28, and Dar es Salaam at 22 is clear, highs of 31. We're looking into a clear Johannesburg at 6 degrees, highs of 19, while Mogadishu will be sunny through Friday at 25, going to highs of 30. It's 12 degrees and almost sunny in Addis Ababa, highs of 23. It's clear at 27 in Lagos with highs of 30, and Kinshasa is cloudy at 23 with highs of 32. It's 29 and mostly sunny in Beijing, highs of 34. Paris is cloudy at 13 with highs of 21. London at 14 is clear with highs of 18 and lows of 10. Thursday night in New York, clear at 23, coming into Friday, highs of 28 and lows of 20.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Salimia watu. Alex from Doha saying hi to Eiric, specifically Eiric, hi.
Hello.
And Gore, my beautiful people. CT, we are beautiful. And Gore is saying hello to you. And our penda sana. Evans Ntabo says happy Friday to our penda sana. Nyaboke kesho sabato. Yes, indeed.
Nyaboke yuko leo. Leo ni Openje.
Openje.
Mr. Ignatius Openje.
Exactly. Omwami. Dismas Ombuya says good morning. Have a blessed day to you too, Dismas. Michael Olande says good morning, taxing nation. The rubber is meeting the road. We shall know who is against us. Oi. Kiongozi Omosh says good morning. Ndu CT Eiric Nifuraide. It's okay. Nyaboke receive. This people are just greeting Nyaboke anyhow. I'm watching you. Desmond says good morning. The budget was budgeting Kenyans. We need stronger and tighter belts in our entire life, including the unborn. Oi. Kelvin Kaburu, we see you. Good morning. GTA Canada is tuned in. Meshach Njenga says good morning. Good morning, Spice. We are in politically uncertain times, are we? Evans is quoting the Bible for us, and he said we should go and read Lamentations 3:25-26. Sawa.
What does it say?
It says, the Lord is good to those whose hope is in him, the one who seeks him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. So, okay. Real Karaoke is tuning from Ontario in Canada. Kennedy Wanjala says good morning, watching live from Nyeri, Mombasa. Hamjamboni Wapendwa, watching from the US is Richard Makiadi. Espila Jackie, we see you. Good morning. Did you see Kenyans texting MPs? Is that thing true?
Yep.
They're actually texting MPs. And saying shape up or ship out.
Better.
You better shape up or we'll deal with you.
Oh, yes. And there are some MPs who are already reacting to this. And they're like, oh, okay. So some are saying, Ndu Okoh. Others are just lingering those messages. Others are responding.
Leo, good morning. Hello, Princess Ndu. Eiric and CT. Edna, for KK, love the health sector that they have increased the budget from 146 billion in 2022 to 141 billion in 2023 and to 123 billion in 2023. Yani they've increased it. We're glad to have such a caring regime. It's great. Makori says good morning. I think Treasury should be disbanded and everybody should go home. Sawa basi. Tibbs, good morning. The definition of madness is repeating the same thing over and over again. Is it? Josh Kamau says good morning. How bad things are, you can at least be happy that you woke up this morning. That is very true. Peter Kiarie says good morning. Did Kenya One use KQ or private jet to Italy? Friday morning. Yesterday was a gloomy day. Why? Dr. Venvick says good morning from Tudor. Good morning, everybody at the Spice FM. Tuning from Houston, Texas. This keep cheers to drip bottomless down is ruthless. What is it? Nikama. Cash Bish says Ndu ile song ya Dr. Mafi is Jerry and the Pacemakers. How do you do it? Nitatafuta usijali.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yeah. Okay. Brian Oginga says good morning. Raphael Kige is tuned in. Jamal Ayub agrees with me that a cold shower in the morning is the thing. Jennifer Etenyi says good morning. Alvin Obambo is greeting us. Nick Aradi says good morning. Zeke loves Dr. Sarah K. Joseph Odingi says good morning, tuned in from Kisi. This is it. Hapo Sasa Asanteni Morris Onyande, good morning. If in everything give thanks, that's true. Raphael Kige also says good morning. Ruth Mugo is here. Kennedy Anyonya is here. Ndu Okoh has one KK t-shirt. Nope. David Thiongo says, good morning. Everybody's here. Joseph Kamal, Stella Kasuku, Simon Mukuhi, Blue Hero, Josephat. Good morning. Sasa Kilamtu says, Dr. John Matinga, and The Adventurer says, good morning, tuned in from Eau Claire in Michigan. Where?
Sabsana. Bwana Muga?
Yes, please.
Final day of Proverbs from Zambia.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Don't start a fight because your companion is strong.
Okay. Don't start a fight, because your companion is strong.
Yes.
Don't start a fight because your companion is strong.
Is there a punctuation? What's the punctuation?
The punctuation begins when you start the fight. You will be punctuated.
The punctuation.
Oh yeah, headlines.
On the front page of the Standard. Openje, you want to see if the other ones are here, man?
Manga sets.
Hey, Openje's wearing a yellow shirt like me. Moving on.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Budget's bitter pill is what's on the front page of the Standard. The Treasury is walking a tightrope juggling between raising revenue to fund insatiable government spending amid public outcry over increased taxes, while moving to cut borrowing in an effort to narrow the budget deficit. I can swear he said the same thing last year, but moving on. Even as all signs point to difficulty meeting yesterday's projections by CS Professor Njuguna Ndungu. I counted, guys, but I got tired at some point.
Of Mr. Speakers?
Mr. Speaker, sir, by the time I got tired, we were at 53.
Okay. And was it halfway through or was it just
Yeah, it was about halfway through.
So
I
we say
stopped counting and just listened
Kedo
to
100.
Probably said Mr. Speaker, sir, like 100 times. But that's okay. There are certain things that are coming in terms of percentages, and we'll look at that and who's supposed to do what. But the budget is 3.9 trillion shillings. It's the size of Ruto administration's second budget since assuming power. So that's what we're looking at today. I can never say this name. Chebitwe, is that it?
Yes.
Freedom for Savula and Chebitwe, coming from the courts. We look at that. Woman suffers fate like mothers. There's a very sad story yesterday. A very good friend of mine and principal magistrate at the Makadari Law Court was shot yesterday.
Yeah.
Policeman shot dead after attack on magistrate. The story around this was just really disturbing, but we'll look at it as well. Monica Kivitu is in recovery, so she's all right.
Oh, good.
After surgery to remove those
Good
bullets.
to know. Good to know. Wishing her quick recovery.
Yeah.
I have the screenshots of the others. The Daily Nation, jobs freeze, tax squeeze. That's a headline. Opposition MPs skip House session, vowing to shoot down budget for punishing Kenyans. Season of pain. Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndungu yesterday announced a raft of sharp expenditure cuts, a freeze on employment, and new tax measures in a budget that mirrored the International Monetary Fund recent demands for deep public sector reforms aimed at ensuring that the country starts living within its means in 3 years. Unawapatia miaka ngapi? Tatu. Mambo ni mangapi?
Tatu.
Haya. So they look at that and the winners and the losers. Ruto shuns politics and pledges to boost agriculture in Mount Kenya tour. He did not talk about 1 shilling, 1 man, 1 briefcase, nothing. President William Ruto yesterday steered clear of politics during his tour of the Mount Kenya region, instead choosing to address issues touching on the agriculture sector, which is the region's economic backbone. He spoke in Meru. The president enumerated his administration's plan to revitalize the dairy, coffee, and tea sectors. Okay. The other headlines in the nation today is the tragedy. A police officer shot dead as magistrate injured in a city court drama. Germany plays Scotland in Euro 2024 opener. Why FBI boss came calling on Kenya's security chiefs. And then the Star. Uko na Star?
Pana.
Okay.
Pana yiko na Star.
Wacha nikuambie the other headlines. Top right-hand corner in burnt brown.
There is no color like burnt brown. No, right?
Si ndio hii iko hapa.
My friend.
So this is brown and it looks burnt. Siasa. Ruto economic diplomacy policy agenda. Is Mudavadi cracking it? That's the question. And that's what they're discussing in the Siasa this weekend. Reactions, nothing to smile about, say Kenyans of the 2024-25 budget. Optics, Ruto and Rigathi keep off politics in Meru. They were together.
Yeah.
Rigathi alienda na barabara, Ruto akafly.
Acha nikwambie, my friend.
Why, Jesus. Forecast, dry weather to continue in most places, according to the weatherman. And then, bang in the people of of the middle.
Right. The people of the middle. Of the middle.
Bang in the middle of the paper.
Well done.
4 trillion budget. Government out to raise revenue locally and avoid external debt. The headline, Ruto goes easy on loans and hard on taxes. Alcohol, cigarettes, gambling and pay slips targeted to boost KRA collections. They have a photo there of Professor Njuguna Ndung'u wearing that kafla on his lapel and all those things and holding that what? Briefcase. And smiling. Not sheepishly, but just smiling. Business Daily, M-Pesa relief as big car owners hit in 347 billion shilling new taxes. So they look at all that, all those taxes, okay? And the People Daily, daylight robbery.
Bus.
That's the headline. Employees set to feel the brunt of new tax measures as state attempts to raise revenue targeting the payslip to service the 4 trillion shilling mega budget. Hivyo ndio wamesema ni daylight robbery. The Taifa leo ni ushuru na ushuru zaidi. City. Situambia Nairobi basi ndio tufanye.
Yes. Corruption in morgues. Families perform costly rituals after mix-up of bodies of kin. What? Go to mortuary, you're given body X, you find out it's actually not your Ella, it's somebody else. So now, you go shake a calabash,
you cleanse.
Look for somebody, yes.
To convert that body to your kin.
Just saying it's not ours.
No. Because now you'll have actually disturbed the village uncles. Yes, so you need to sort them out and you need to appease them. So you have to bring someone who knows how to perch a cockerel on their head.
So where's the corruption here? The morgue attendants sold the wrong body, or what's that?
That story is on page 14 and 15, and I will tell it to you.
Please.
Right?
Okay.
Intersex. It's tough finding love and intimacy out here. Story is on page 22 and 23. Sin City. Do you know the city that is referred to as Sin City?
Las Vegas.
All right. And in the county of Mombasa?
Oh, I thought it was...
No. Las Vegas, yes. Quite right. But in the county of Mombasa, Mtwapa.
Kilifi.
Yeah, Kilifi County. Yes.
Mtwapa.
Yes.
It's known as Sin City.
It's known as Sin City.
So what happens in Mtwapa stays in Mtwapa?
What happens in Mtwapa actually really happens in Mtwapa. Date with Destiny. This is the story of the under-17s. Is it under-21s? Anyway, Date with Destiny. A nation's World Cup hopes rest on Starlet's shoulders. Page 40.
Rests on Starlet's shoulders.
Yes.
Wow, sure.
Right. Then, Juma Kiplenge case. Woman, daughter-in-law, battle over 25 million estate. Stories on page 4. Money. Then, bang in the middle of the paper. Okay. Mapenzi moto. Waheshimiwa are busy turning parliament into a hunting ground for love.
They're hunting themselves, Yani.
It would appear so. Bunge MPs turn house into lovers' paradise.
Oh boy.
Mapenzi kem.
Mapenzi murder.
Yeah, well, they're legislating something.
Go to Johnny Bravo. Hey, sugar. Tell us about traffic, please.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Just a little bit of it on the Thika Superhighway as you're coming through towards Survey. there. Also on Kangunda Road, they said Monday to Friday we'll show you we have the dibs on traffic. So it's already building, getting towards Outer Ring. Manyanja Road, not so much. Jogo Road, politely heading towards Landis. And then at Kamkunji, people are offloading fruits and vegetables for the weekend. So, you got to dash in between the food and there's some traffic. All right, coming off the Eastern Bypass, nothing much happening here. A quick look then at Ngong Road, and it's just that junction between Naivasha Road and Ngong Road itself is starting to build, and it looks pretty busy as you're getting into the city. Coming off Langata Road, no big deal whatsoever. Magadi Road, we usually on Friday, don't know what happens, but getting into the city via Langata Road can be a mess. Hasn't started yet, so, use it now while you can. Into the CBD is probably where we'll see most of the action today, so let's keep an eye on things as we get into it. We'll talk on SpiceFM, KEONX, hashtag The Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Court shooting leaves magistrate dead, hurt, and officer dead. So that happened at about 2 o'clock yesterday. A senior police officer was shot dead yesterday at the Makadara Law Courts after opening fire, injuring a magistrate in a shocking incident that left 3 more cops wounded. Principal Magistrate Monica Kivuti is now battling for her life at the Nairobi hospital after she was shot in her chest and left hip during an open court session in a tent while presiding over a bond ruling in a 2.9 million shillings fraud case involving the officer's spouse. Now, Kivuti had just delivered her ruling when, in a fit of rage, Samson Kipchirchir Kipruto drew out a pistol aiming at the magistrate. Kipchirchir, who is 50, is said to be the OCS Londiani police station. He had travelled to Nairobi to attend to the case in which his spouse, identified as Jennifer Wairimo, was facing the fraud case. Right? The woman, said to be the officer's wife, had pleaded to be released on a cash bail. Kivuti, however, cancelled Wairimo's bond for having skipped court sessions, ordering that the accused be remanded until the 27th of June. So apparently she had skipped these sessions, quite often.
Right.
And so showing up that day to then say that she was sick and asking for that pardon, Kivuti said no.
Did she come? So she didn't come with any, proof that she had been sick?
She came with an oxygen mask, apparently, and the thing. Yeah, she did.
Was there any, you come with a medical report,
you come with a doctor's,
Did she come with any of that?
That's a good question.
Okay.
Following the unfavourable ruling, Kipchirchir, who came while armed with a Jericho pistol, entered the court through the magistrate's door.
Hey.
Lawyer Immaculate Ochola described the incident as horrific and regrettable. Everyone started panicking. But what we would hear is lie down, lie down. Everyone seemed to be running for their dear lives. After shooting the magistrate, Kipchirchir was countered and fatally injured. Police officers Augustine Michael Kidhumbi, Maureen Lepes and Eunice Masharia were injured in the process and were rushed to hospital in stable condition. Nairobi County Police Commander Adamson Bungay thanked his officers for stopping the rogue OCS from causing more harm. So that was clear that he was shot dead. Following the incident, court activities were immediately suspended as Chief Justice Martha Koome condemned the attack and appealed for more funding for construction of more decent courtrooms and scaling up of security. What did we talk about yesterday when we were talking about the balance of funding going in between the 3 arms of government? Prioritizing funding for the judiciary. We mentioned this in the morning. She said it is regrettable that the perpetrator was a senior court user who had open and unfettered access to the courtroom through the special magistrate's entrance. We must also note here that it was an open tent, right? Because of the space issue at Makadara, they had to erect tents now for some of these sessions.
Within the compound.
Within the compound, okay? It is clear that the intention of the perpetrator was to kill the magistrate. This is what he wanted to do. But then there's also speculation that maybe this particular OCS was not stably minded. There was a mental health issue here as well.
By the time you shoot someone in the hip and in the abdomen,
yeah,
or rather in the chest, rather,
yeah.
Your intentions are quite clear. But
Indeed.
if you read the story further,
Martha Koome now went on to say that the police unit, the Judiciary Police Unit, in consultation with the Office of the Inspector General, will now reinforce security in all court stations across the country and ensure that persons are not allowed to access court premises while armed, with the exception of officers. Well, this was an officer, so what are we talking about here?
Hey.
Given that the court at Makadara was operating from a makeshift structure, an indication of lack of space and ample facilities at Makadara, and in courts across the country, we continue to call upon the National Assembly to prioritise funding to facilitate the development of appropriate court infrastructure across the country.
Hey.
Yes, it was terrible. It was a terrible thing yesterday.
And yeah, like they've said, this is a senior court user. It's a senior police officer.
You wouldn't expect.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wish them a quick recovery. And indeed, if the wife is sick, we also wish her a quick recovery. Hey, si mchezo.
Not good.
Si mchezo. So budget stories are everywhere. It's all over. But there's a story here. It is ironical as Kenya Kwanza administration gears towards the actualization of the universal health coverage, the budgetary allocation for health has continued to decline. The Ministry of Health has been allocated 127 billion shillings in the 24-25 financial year, a decrease of 11 billion from the 138 billion allocated in the last financial year. The 4.2 billion was allocated for UHC Coordination and Management Unit in the budget statement read yesterday by the National Treasury CS, Jugunandungo. 4.1 billion was allocated for Primary Healthcare Fund. The Emergency Chronic it should be Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund under the new Medical Scheme Social Health Authority got a share of 2 billion. According to SHA regulations, all Kenyans will register the new scheme. Now, here's the thing. I continue asking the question why we are funding over a quarter of the budget that goes to devolution going to health at the national level.
Why we're doing what? Sorry, say that again.
So, the money that's going to counties is 400 billion shillings.
Yes.
Okay? What is a quarter of 400?
100.
100 million. 127 billion is going to the Ministry of Health.
From that same county money?
No. From the national
separate budget.
Separate budget. Okay? Health is devolved.
Yes, it is.
When you go to a health facility, everything there, buying of medicine, hiring of doctors,
paid by county.
It's counties. Out of this 400 billion that is going to be divided into all the 47 counties. The national government, Hapa Nairobi Afya House, is getting 127 billion shillings.
Again. For what?
For all those things. For example, right now, they have decided that they are the ones who are going to roll out UHC, okay? Countrywide. And so they are the ones. You see, there are those 3 funds that were told by Dr. Openje yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Right? So SHA has 3 funds. The Primary Healthcare Fund, which is where you go to your local health facility and you go back home 100% fully paid as long as you're a registered member of SHA. That money is coming from the National Treasury. Okay? And it is 4 billion shillings. Okay? Then there is the SHIF, the
Social Health Insurance
Fund. This is where we are paying into. And then above that, then there's the Emergency, Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, which is now also being funded by government. But it's coming from the National Treasury at 2 billion shillings. So, if the health facilities at the local level are actually run and managed by the county, at what point does the national government send money for those services being offered by that county hospital?
Because it cannot be a case-by-case thing. It cannot be that somebody shows up at hospital, because we're talking about emergency, critical and chronic care. So those are the things we're looking at like now, the cancers, and if you need emergency surgery and things like that.
Or you're involved in an accident.
On an accident,
the first place you're taken is to a hospital.
It is not case by case. So the assumption is that that money needs to be there, so that when somebody then comes in, they plug into it and then they go.
What they're doing now is actually you pay for service, right? So you go to a health facility and then the facility will bill whoever it's billing. My question is, why are we billing the national government for a devolved function? Why is the national government running health?
You know, this is a question we're never going to stop asking because remember, in the Uhuru era is when these questions are being asked.
Yeah.
Okay? Why is it that the national government, they say also in conjunction with the county governments, why are they continuing to take the lion's share of this health money, and yet their functions, if you're talking policy, what is it in policy that requires this amount of money? Or are there other functions that they feel they are the ones who must control? Let's say, for instance, this matter of interns, okay? If indeed the national government is the ones who are supposed to control it, how much does that cost on a yearly basis? Okay?
And maybe now the other money would go for national immunization.
Yes. Okay.
Or the emergency polio vaccination.
Yes, how much does that cost? And remember, some of these functions, much as when they budget for these things, they are assisted.
Yep.
There's a constant supply of money that is given to government by friendly donors to ensure that these services are carried out.
But this is exactly where this money is coming from.
Yes.
No. Is it not? They told us that at this tier...
This 127 billion
No.
is taxpayer.
No. This 2 billion that is at the emergency...
the emergency chronic and
they said that a percentage of that money comes from donors. But this is my question. What's wrong with this money going directly to counties so that they can handle it when they're handling it anyway?
There's a law that was passed in the National Assembly and the Senate recently, and this law looks at how to ring fence funds. You know, when they come, what's it called? Conditional grants, right? So if a donor, for example, wants to give money to a specific project, let's say health or agriculture, and it's devolved, you know, now a donor doesn't want to start dealing with 47 different units. So they give this money to the National Treasury, and then the National Treasury disburses it to the counties as the conditional grant, taking that link all the way. But the money will go to the county. Not that the National Treasury will be the one that's paying. Ati ile hospitali inaitwa ati Kimana dispensary. Ati wanataka nini? No. Yeah. Hawako kwa list. So, anyway, there's healthcare delta blow as budget slashed by 11 billion shillings. There's very many questions here. Very many questions in this. Siti, please tell us that story that you had read in the Nairobian, right?
It was in the Nairobians. You're talking about
the
Morgue.
Yes.
You're more interested in the morgue.
Families performing costly rituals after mix-up of bodies of kin.
Mortuary attendants receive bribes to take good care of particular bodies. Number one. So don't corruption. Colleagues who do not get a share deliberately exchange tags to punish relatives.
What? So if you don't talk to Kidogo, they actually do not take care of your relatives.
Yes,
body.
but they change the tags also. Remember when
they give you the wrong
cops, you at your, I was about to say at your thumb, your toe, okay?
Your foot thumb.
A foot thumb. Yes. You.
They tag it.
They tag it with the name, so you know.
Yes.
These fellows exchange the tags, one.
To punish those who have not paid.
No, I'll put up a
continue.
All right, let me read the story. The telltale signs are rarely discernible, and when it happens, death hits family and friends like a thunderbolt. People fear death, yet it is inevitable and brings with it undefined emotions to the relatives of the deceased. Okay. Now, let me leave the poetry aside and get to the heart of it.
What's the story?
This poetry. Okay, a spot check by the Nairobian has established that the culture of tokenism, kitu kidogo, is the main cause of the body mix-ups. Tokenism is so entrenched among morgue attendants and morticians to the extent that if one does not part with some money besides the normal mortuary fees, the body of one's relative will not be preserved properly. When the family of the deceased person pays a morgue attendant or mortician and his colleagues do not get their share, they give wrong tags to the body as a punishment to the family and those who receive the bribe but didn't share with others, said the mortuary attendant. A mortician working in Kakamega funeral parlor who sought anonymity says enmity and jealousy among morticians has over tokenism from the deceased person's family members to take care of the corpse is the main cause of the rising cost of the mix-up. Pun intended here. Isn't this a very morbid story?
Jesus.
Okay?
Jesus.
The corpse, and I'm reading a quote by a mortician, the corpse may be exchanged or handled carelessly, leading to unknotting of the tag. In some circumstances, the mortician deliberately exchanges the identification tag, leading to the collection of the wrong body. Okay? Sasa hiyo baba ndio shida ambayo tuko nayo kwa morgue.
That is a very, very...
It's very disturbing to hear that you're fighting over, first of all,
yes. Now let's
territory over dead body.
the bit about the village uncles.
We're
shocked to receive a call informing us, this is someone quoting, that we had picked up a different woman and not our beloved Rispa. Okay? The family was forced to return the body to the morgue. We had already slaughtered 2 cows. We agreed with the other family to bring the body of our relatives in exchange for theirs, and then it was buried the same day. The family of Evans Mutiti was the one whose body had been collected by the family. The man had gone to Kakamega Referral Mortuary to collect the body of his wife Susan, only to find it missing.
Oh my God.
So it's bizarre.
At best.
It's really painful. Can you imagine? It's the day of the burial. Everybody is prepared. You go to the mortuary, and then you find the body of your kin missing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And then you start doing that homework by yourself because they're not helping you. So you've established, okay, so who else came here to pick bodies? Let's call each one of them. Ebu angalieni kama huyo. You know, that's what you're telling them. Can you people just confirm that the person you have in the coffin there is your person?
Your person first, please, because mine is missing.
Hey. Hapana, hii kitu ni
shida.
Right. Please. Please. Let me tell you a story that's also in the Business Daily. This is from the court. A house help has been arraigned in court over allegations of stealing money in dollar denominations from her employer. The headline of this story is House help steals 2.6 million shillings and builds a house for her grandma. Tracy Sindondo Amutamwa was presented before Milimani Senior Principal Magistrate Gilbert Chikwe, where Corporal Francis Mwenda from the Gigiri DCI applied to have the accused detained for 10 days in order for police to complete their investigations. According to Mwenda, the accused was arrested on Friday last week on alleged case of stealing by servants. The complainant is a Chinese national called Yu Yanping. She's a businesswoman. She told the police that she discovered she's been losing money in her house. Between June 3rd and the 4th this year, she discovered $750, that's equivalent to 97,500, was missing. The only outsider who has unlimited access in her house is the house help. Therefore, upon questioning her, she admitted that she had been stealing money and giving it to her boyfriend, Razmi Mainge. The officer went on to tell the court that upon Yanping doing proper audit of her money, that's when she realized, 20,000 USD missing, equivalent to 2.6 million shillings. The cop called Mwenda told the magistrate that the accused indicated to the complainant that out of the money that she stole, she managed to build a house for her grandmother. From the interrogation they obtained from Amutamwa, the court was told that police gathered information that she had started stealing from her employer on the 15th of March this year.
So the 20k she stole between 15th March and 4th June?
Yep. She had been stealing money in bits over a period of time, and after giving to her boyfriend, he usually sent her share through M-Pesa after changing to Kenya shillings. So she'd steal the money, give Mainge. Mainge goes Forex, exchanges cash. M-Pesa sends Tracy the money. By the time of her arrest, Tracy had 100,000 shillings in her M-Pesa account. He wants the suspect held for 10 days. Now, she said, it's true, by the way, I've been taking... In
2 months? Nice, okay.
2 months is enough time to build a house.
Especially if you have the cash, ne?
2.6 M.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is the amount of money that somebody is keeping in the house.
This is it.
And they don't notice.
And you don't even notice that
you don't
it's
notice 20,000 USD is missing.
She only noticed the 20,000 USD was missing after she did an audit of the money that she had and then what was not there. Other than that, she would not have known.
The individual who worked in this house had understood, had studied, watched, saw, because they didn't take all that money at once.
They didn't.
It was
just over time. Yes. Probably the first time she came across this money, she took kidogo. She noticed Mama hajauliza, Mama is so she you go back again. That's the thing.
Took a bit more kidogo.
More kidogo, like that. Keep taking kidogo until now. This time 750 went missing, and Mama is like, "Ha, what mamange?"
Tracy
calls her, Tracy, what mamange? And he's like, me, I don't know. Cops are called. That's when now she says.
If she's put inside, she'll join inmates who will now be doing communal work in state houses in the state's new plan to decongest prison facilities. The State Department for Correctional Facilities has...
we are decongesting prison by sending prisoners to state house. I like this move.
No, they're not going to state house. The state's plan.
But see, we are decongesting prisons.
You want them to
and they're going to state houses.
No, wait. The State Department for Correctional Facilities has rolled out a program where convicts serving short jail terms will be released to work for the community in an effort to decongest prisons. You understand? They'll be cleaning the city, things like that. Principal Secretary Salome Biko said the community service order is already being implemented in Elgeyo Marakwet and Laikipia counties, with plans to extend it to cover all the 47 counties. The new strategy to reduce the number of inmates in the country's overstretched penal institutions is different from the non-custodial sentences, in which it will factor inmates whose remaining jail term is below 1 year. So if you're on a short stint, or if you have a year left in your whatever, we will bring you to be sweeping the streets and planting trees and things like that. Now, I don't know if you'll be doing that and going home, or
I don't get the difference between that and non-custodial, because they're saying it's different from the non-custodial. Because non-custodial is when you are out of prison.
Yes, exactly. And then
but you're reporting to local chief and probation officer and stuff.
But then it's also for those who have less than a year left on their sentence. So where will you be going when you finish work? Home. Okay. So.
Hiya. You keep it here. You don't go anywhere, because in the next hour we have more conversations. Okay?
Me?
Yeah. You who's watching and listening and following us wherever. Yeah. It is 7 a.m. This is Kenya's biggest conversation, The Situation Room. It's Friday. Happy Friday, wherever you are. Niko na 6 seconds.
Oh, ya kusema kitu. Good morning pia on this Friday.
Siti na samaki.
Thank you.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. The government has announced the suspension of the employment of civil servants and equally banned any renovations in its offices for the next 1 year in order to cut down on cost. Treasury CS Professor Njuguna has ordered a reduction in the cost of travel and training of public servants. The CS also ordered the suspension of the purchase of furniture in government, apart from inspections to be carried out in all departments to address ghost workers. According to Ndungu, doing so will help the government reduce its spending by more than 50% if the funds are used to pay off debts.
Suspension of all new recruitment in the public sector for the next 1 year. Audit and cleanse all public payrolls, pension and transfers to the vulnerable, with a view to eliminate ghost workers as well as enforce payments of salary scales, rationalizing all allocations for purchases of motor vehicles and suspending purchases of furniture for a period of 1 year, and suspending all refurbishment and partitioning of government offices. Curtailing spending on the following expenditure items: foreign travels, rationalization of all training expenses across government, and restricting all training to within government institutions.
Kenyans have now warned the parliamentarians against passing the Finance Bill 2024-2025. Now, through social networks and even direct messages, Kenyans have asked the parliamentarians to drop the bill, especially after they objected during public participation. Kenyans called out President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, accusing them of proposing taxes that oppress them. Some members of parliament answered the messages to indicate that they have received them. The people criticized the president and his deputy, on the other hand, for not answering their messages nor calls. KO South Member of Parliament Gideon Kimayo faced the wrath of Kenyans after giving a sarcastic response which saw Kenyans flock his social media accounts. Finance Committee Chairperson Kuri Kiwani responded to the messages, giving an assurance that their views will be considered during the final report to be presented in Parliament Tuesday next week. Majority Whip Leader in the National Assembly, Silvanus Osoro, on his part, said he received more than 3,000 messages, 50% of which were abusive.
For the record, I've actually received close to 3,000 messages trickling in every second, with 50% of them being very vulgar, insultive and with weird demands, telling us, calling us MPs, others telling us you must vote as I told you. There was public participation. The report will be tabled in Parliament next week. We'll see, we'll weigh the report as it is and then vote for or against, depending on how the report will come forth.
Osoro has, however, assured Kenyans that the elements in the finance bill that cause controversy will be amended before the bill is passed, asking Kenyans to be patient, a statement that has been supported by other members of parliament, including the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah.
We are not going to reject the finance bill because we must fund government, but we are going to reject contentious clauses. Clauses about the bread are debatable. If we can't reject some of the clauses entirely, then we have to seek a way to reduce part of the proposals.
It will be important for members of the public to get the understanding that these are just the revenue raising measure statement, not the finance bill. I know many of these members have been harassed by members of the public on matters touching on voting.
Kenyans, when they hear finance bill, they don't want even to know what is inside the finance bill. They just want to say, just reject it. People have been on our inboxes, on our messages, on our emails, kindly reject the finance bill. But why are we rejecting the finance bill?
And finance ministers from the EAC region presented their budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025 in Tanzania. The Minister of Finance, Mwigulu Nchemba, read the budget of 49.34 trillion Tanzanian shillings, approximately 2.43 trillion Kenya shillings. This budget has increased by 11%, while Tanzanians are expected to be taxed more to finance the budget.
Misingi ya bajeti ni kama ifuatavyo: kuongeza ushiriki wa sekta binafsi kwenye shughuli za uwekezaji na biashara, kuendelea kuhimili athari za majanga ya asili na yasiyo ya asili ikiwemo ukame, vita, magonjwa ya mlipuko, mafuriko na mengineyo, kuimarika kwa uchumi wa dunia na utulivu na bei ya masoko ya kifedha, na kuendelea kuimarika kwa upatikanaji wa usalama wa chakula hapa nchini na uwepo wa amani, usalama, umoja na utulivu wa ndani na nchi jirani.
In Uganda, the government has submitted a budget of 72.1 trillion Uganda shillings, equivalent to 2.49 trillion Kenya shillings. The nation aims to borrow 8.9 trillion shillings, which is equivalent to 307 billion Kenya shillings. Most of these loans will be from within Uganda. This is Newswire. Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
SpiceFM, Nakuru.
Okay, so what are we doing? A few minutes after 7 o'clock, traffic is starting to build here and there, but it is a Friday, so it's not going to be as crazy as it normally would be during the week. We don't know what that phenomenon is, but we'll figure it out. We'll crack it at some point. Anyway, on the Thika Superhighway, there's traffic coming in from Survey. It's going out towards the CBD. You're going to get onto Wangari Maathai without an issue. Murang'a Road also not too much. There's some traffic starting to build around the Globe Cinema roundabout, but then you get into the CBD, no problem at all. Coming off of Wayaki Way, a little bit of traffic. Even James Gishoro has decided, okay, we're going to give some this morning, but it's going to get through probably at the end of traffic hour. As you're coming in from Lavington, and that's coming in also then from Gong Road, Gitanga Road, and then further in from Kingara Road. There's some traffic that's starting to build, but nothing too painful. You get through without too much of a scratch. Jogo Road is busy as you get towards Landis. And then coming off of the Eastern Bypass, we're seeing some traffic building, but we're not at a standstill. A bit of a standstill off North Airport Road as you're coming in from Cabanas. And so that's one to watch. We'll get into traffic hours soon. We'll talk on SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag the situation room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eiric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Do you want to win up to 1 million shillings in just a few months' time?
Yes.
1 million. 1 million shillings.
Or more, but
or more.
we can start with that.
Up to 1 million.
Yep.
Yeah. If you would like to win up to 1 million shillings, just make a switch to Stanbic. Or if you already are an account holder with Stanbic, like City and Angalia Chini, because he knows. If you have an account with Stanbic Bank, just top up your current account with 50,000 shillings. If it's a savings account, top up your savings with 50,000 shillings. If you have, that current account, you can actually start directing your salary through it. Okay? And, my friend, you get into a draw. If you're not an account holder with Stanbic, make the switch. Open an account today with Stanbic. Deposit. How much? 50,000 shillings. Or open a savings account. Deposit how much? 50,000 shillings. Open an account. Say, my salary, less housing, less NHIF, less NSSF, and soon less SHA shall go to this account. Okay? Take it there. Draw. Every month, winners. Okay?
Could be you.
And every month they are winners. And then there's a grand draw, which is going to happen in September. And how much do you stand to win?
1 million shillings.
My friend.
The person who draws the second, 500,000. The second runner-up, 300,000. Surely, what more do you want?
These days, there's no third. It's just second runner-up.
The second runners-up. Third sounds a little bit, third sounds a bit too far from number one. But if we say that you were runners-up, Yani, you were running up to, you were just there.
So in fact, you're not even second, you're first runner-up.
Then now the second runner-up. Now if you say second,
right,
and then you leave it there.
Right.
No. Do you understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit confusing.
Yeah.
Just say first, second, and third.
Well, by the way, if you look at even our education system, they've even removed the numbering system. You can't be number one anymore.
No.
The beauty is you also can't be number last.
Even though you are.
Even though you are.
Yes.
Monthly winners, 20 winners every month, and with the highest prize money being 200,000 shillings per month. In that month, 100,000 shillings is the number 2 is called first runner-up.
Yes, first runner-up.
And then number 3 is the second runner-up,
yeah.
50,000 shillings. Monthly winners. 20 people. And then that final draw in the 4th of September is when this thing ends. Switch to Stanbic. Kerry, City, you carry the message from Kerry.
Well, there are obligations and then there are obligations.
Okay.
Kerry has an obligation. They help us manage the country. How do they do this? They ensure that they collect taxes that are due to them and due to the government. Now, once they've collected these taxes, they then give it to the government to use it for the various things that the government has determined is in their budget. Now, every once in a while, People find themselves in difficulties, and for one reason or the other, they are unable to pay their taxes. Now, KRA is telling you this. If you haven't paid taxes and you had been informed that because of this default, there were penalties, there were charges, and there was interest being levied, and which you were supposed to pay, they're saying they're giving you a tax break. Break meaning there's an amnesty. You do not have to pay the penalties, the interest. But this offer lasts until the end of this month. Now, how do you go about ensuring that you benefit from this? You call 0711 then 999, meaning 999. At the end of that line, someone will respond to you. And when they respond to you, they will talk to you. And they'll explain to you and they'll walk you through this process. If you have difficulties paying the principal sum, they will inform you of how you can have a payment plan. And in this payment plan, you can pay, in what we Kenyans understand very well, installments, bit by bit. But that don't you have to pay in full. It's the penalties, the interest that will be removed. That's why it's called an amnesty. Yeah, ni kama ulikuwa jela umewekewa free. Sasa hiyo imeenda, it is gone. Yes.
Very good. Our next conversation is going to be about marketing and understanding how technology can work for marketing. City. P-I-C-K. Pronounce?
Pick.
P-E-A-K.
Peak.
Very good.
You got it right.
Ilikuwa mwalimu wa Kiingereza baba.
Sema tena.
Pick and peak. All right, Eric, I am aware and I do understand the conundrum you find yourself in. So, Eric said pick, and the other one, pick. Okay, now, they're two different. Yes, the first one I said pick, and the second one I said pick. Didn't you hear the difference? It's very different. Pick and peak.
Okay. Pick and peak.
Yes.
Sawa.
Yes.
Sawa. Peak. So there's a marketing company called Peak and Dale Solutions Limited, and the CEO is Brenda Mwirisha. She's our guest for the next hour. Brenda, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good. Glad to be
here.
here.
You pronounce the peak.
It's Peak and Dale. He got it right.
Sawa. Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
We welcome you with some nyama, beef. Ken beef by Ken Chick. You know Ken Chick.
Yes, we
right?
do. Yes.
So they've decided, okay, now we know so much about meat. So why don't we move into beef as well? So now there's Ken beef by Ken Chick. And
they've got many things. So the thing that I thought about yesterday was a 21-day wet aged beef. So it's done in a vacuum pack, but it's done so wet, and so it now gets to age. So can you imagine now after that 21 days when you take it out and you can set it on the grill, or you slice it into cubes and you put it on the broil? My goodness, what it does. Fantastic. Yeah, those are some of the things that we're talking about. There's sausage. The other day I did one of the hot dogs and I put it in a bun. Chef's kiss. There's hamburgers and minced meat, all sorts of great stuff. You're hungry, aren't you?
Yeah, give me
even
my
as you think about
Yes, the other.
Yes. You know, it's called what?
Motura.
I love the way he says it.
Motura.
Imagine all of these things, this array of products now available. Ken Beef by Ken Chick. So they decided, look, you know what? Kenyans love meat. We know how to deliver this wonderful service, quality, round the clock. How about we put the two together and let's deliver what Kenyans love with the same quality of service that they've been used to. And that's now when we have all these Ken Beef products. Great stuff available at all your supermarkets. Make a snack or a meal of it. It's really fantastic. You need to try it today because taste ni
Noma. Choice ni
moja. Taste ni noma.
City? Welcome. How is the day's proverb?
Yes, our proverbs for the whole of this week have been from the Republic of Zambia, and today is our final day. Now, the final proverb for the week: don't start a fight just because your companion is strong.
Don't start a fight just because you are the just.
Don't start a fire just because your companion is strong.
Oh, before you didn't put the just.
You didn't hear properly.
Right. That's why I put the comma. You didn't put the just.
I put comma.
Okay. Okay. Brenda, what's your interpretation of this proverb?
I mean, you, like it says, don't just pick a fight because you're feeling like I have backup. I have, I'm okay. And especially in politics, I think a lot of people do that. So, yeah.
Thinking at you, these ones will come to my aid. Big guy will just look at you.
Might not be their fight to fight.
Or they've been looking for an opportunity to have you get bit. So they're like, Nyorosho hata umekuwa tabia mbaya. Nyorosho. Okay. All right. So tell us about this marketing company, Peak and Dale Solutions.
Right. So Peak and Dale has been in existence for 15 years. We call ourselves an integrated tech marketing communications agency, abbreviated as ITMC, and we actually coined that term. I think we're one of the few agencies that has been able to marry tech with marketing. So we are an ITMC, been in the industry for 15 years, work with several brands across the board, work with a lot of SMEs, and we have been able to craft different agencies that deal with different things. So we have the tech arm of the business, which runs under 7-8. Then we have the agencies that actually handle the marketing and communications bit. And so we're able to marry all that together and be able to deliver fantastic results that would otherwise not have been delivered, barring everything separately.
So 3 solutions, 3 companies sort of working as one.
Yes.
Before we go to the tech,
first
take us through what is the marketing and communication.
Right. So marketing and communications is bringing your business business value and trying to source a market for it. So there are very many things when it comes to marketing. For me, 2 things are key. One is understanding your customer. So if you understand your customer, then you're able to give them an experience that is worthwhile. And 2 is brand, building your brand equity. So for instance, the reason Kenchik is able to start Kenbeef is because people already trust Kenchik. They know Kenchik, they trust it. And that's part of brand building. How do you build your brand equity so that people are able to trust you, to love you, and to pick your product from the shelf? So for me, those 2 things in summary.
Just one and the same thing then. Marketing and communication. Can you have marketing without communication?
You can. Okay, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Marketing encompasses communications, but communications does not necessarily encompass marketing. So communications is how do I actually tell my story? How do I tell my brand story in a way that people are able to understand and relate to it?
Okay.
Right.
So where does tech come in?
Yes, that's a good question. So past 15 years, I'll tell you about when we started. Tech in 2009 was not such a big deal, right? In fact, it was something that was way out there. It was something that people were not really relating with, just like AI is now, right? And so we've come a long way, and I'm really glad to see how we can be able to integrate tech with marketing. I remember those days I would tell people, let's have a video conference, and they look at me and tell me, what are you talking about? Now, I mean, everything is on Zoom. Everyone understands Zoom, Google Meet, Teams. People are communicating through that. People are watching this live, so there's a lot of tech that is happening there. So how tech integrates with marketing is that we're able to allow customers to use these tools of technology and be able to benefit from them. One of the biggest tools that we have now is social media, right? Everyone is using social media. And in fact, for any business listening, if you're not on social media, and I think this has been emphasized quite a bit, if you're not on social media, you're missing out on a very large percentage of otherwise would-be customers, right? So social media is powerful. In the past, you would have to probably meet up, with your boys in the bar, have some banter, meet up with your girls, and then you talk about, oh, where did you buy this? Where did you get this? But now I can put it on social media, right? So I'm able to communicate to a much larger audience and to a targeted audience. And that's the power of that kind of marketing, digital marketing. I'm able to communicate to a targeted audience. I want to speak to people only in Kenya. I can speak to people only in Kenya. And it gets better. I want to speak to people only in Mombasa Road. I can speak to people only in Mombasa Road, So I'm able to target my audience and be able to give them a message that is effective just for them.
How does that impact business? Because marketing is not marketing on its own. It's targeted towards, getting somebody to make a decision about purchasing something, taking on a service, taking on a good. So how has this innovation that we've seen over the last, maybe decade, how has that impacted business? Whereby are we seeing that people are purchasing and consuming more as a result of this targeting that you're talking about?
Yes.
What's the impact look like?
So it has. A lot of businesses, and in fact, it's very interesting, because a lot of businesses are actually only on social media, which is something I don't advocate for. You need to be able to build your equity beyond social media. But there are businesses that we've seen that are operating entirely on social media. You sell on social media, so there's been that kind of impact. But I think the best thing is that it is measurable. I'm able to see exactly who I'm targeting and whether my money is actually giving me a return on investment. So it is measurable, and I think that's the power of this kind of technology. I can be able to target, I can be able to see what was my effective reach, what was my return on investment, and so on and so forth. Right.
But that would have to be from what you decided you wanted to do. Because there's somebody who may be wanting to push sales volumes, then you go ahead and have this targeted campaign, you've put in money into it, but it gives you reach. It doesn't give you, it doesn't translate to sales immediately. And someone starts saying, this thing doesn't work. I put 20,000 shillings into this thing, nobody called. Well, I put 20,000, my stock is still the same.
No new customers.
So how do you then guide somebody into the best way to achieve the best result or your best objective?
So I like that. I feel like you're a marketer, Latiff. So when you're going out to market, there are different objectives that you would want to have. And like you've said rightly, one of them would actually be reach. I just want to reach a certain targeted audience. So an objective can actually be reach. Another objective could actually be conversion. Conversion means I want to be able to get people to call me and make a sale, or engagement. Engagement is where I want people to just talk to me and get to know me a bit better. So I want messages. I want people to interact with my videos, right? So depending on the objective, then you're able to craft your campaign around the kind of objective that you have, and that's where the agency comes in, because now we're able to guide you and help you understand what kind of objective do you want to achieve. How will you be able to achieve it? What is the best way? What are the best platforms? What else can we put out there so that you're able to achieve that objective better? All right.
I've always been confused about marketing and sales. Because at some level, they seem to me like they're the same thing. Because when you say you're marketing and then you're selling, how do you tell the difference?
So remember, I mentioned that marketing involves quite a number of things, and one of them is brand building, right? So sales is the actual sale, which we all know. And a lot of people, rightly, like you've put it, when they talk about marketing, they say, I want sales. But marketing can be able to give you so much more, right? And that's why it's important to understand, what objective do I want with my marketing? Do I want to create top-of-mind awareness, where I just want people to know about my brand and not necessarily purchase at this point in time, but just know and interact with my brand? Or do I want to engage with my consumers? Do I want to educate them and tell them, look, we have this service, this is how it works, this is the opportunities that it can give you, you know? So there are very many facets to marketing, but sales is, have we made that purchase at the end of the day? Right? So marketing is the process that will help lead you to that particular sales. But you can be able to have so many other objectives around it and not just sales. Sales could be one of the objectives, but you can be able to have other objectives around that.
Do I hear you to be saying that when someone is in the business that you are in, you are able to look at a business entity and determine that they are perhaps not optimizing on whatever capabilities they have, and so you go about pinpointing and establishing the means by which this particular business can A, be better known, B, better put out these benefits that they offer into the market, and the end result is they are better able to realize perhaps what they were looking for all along, money.
Yes, and one of the very first things that we do is we craft a strategy for you. So we analyze your business, and one of the things we like saying is that we look at your needs and we actually validate those needs, because sometimes you could be saying, I have this kind of problem, and that's not really your problem. Your problem is something else. And so we're able to come into your business and look at it from a holistic angle and craft a strategy for you that you will then use to be able to effectively market, right? So we'll give you your objectives. We'll tell you who your target audience should be. You know, we'll tell you how do you communicate to that target audience. We'll even give you your tone of voice. What kind of tone of voice should you be able to use? Should you shout? Should you use Swanglish? I hear nowadays it's called Swanglish, a mixture of Swahili and English. Do you speak Sheng? How do you reach that customer in a language that they can understand? And so we're able to put all this together holistically and craft a strategy for you that then you will be able to use in your market.
So then how do you measure success? I mean, okay, here you've done all these things, you've strategized, you've gone through the processes. Now you, as a marketing and communication organization, how do you measure
the success? Wonderful. So this is where now the integration of with tech comes in. So we are able to put tools together, that then help measure results. Okay, and for us that's a big thing. We're able to get your analytics and measure your results and show you that this is what you've been able to achieve. So we actually call it performance marketing because it's data-driven marketing. So we're getting data and we're able to interpret that data and tell you a story based on what that data is telling us. And now you're able to actually craft and say, okay, am I going in the direction that I wanted to go, or do I need to tweak my advertising, to tweak my spend so that I can be able to make the kind of wins that I wanted to make in the first place.
Since you're a business, you also need to make money.
Yes.
Is the money you make attached to the success factor? Or do you make money any which way? Whether you succeed, that is your problem.
So it's very hard not to succeed because this is something that we've been doing for so many years, right? And we've gotten good at our craft, that so much so that now we can be able to look at certain things and quickly tell you this is it. But like I said again, the first place to start is with the analysis and the strategy. And if we start at that point, then you're likely to succeed. The success rates are very high. And I'll give you some success stories that we've been able to have over the past couple of years. But if you start from an analysis perspective and you're able to craft a strategy that you know that this is where we're heading to, then you will definitely succeed because you're working based on that strategy.
My last question before the break.
Yeah.
Given what you've told me, I get the impression that this trade that you ply would work very well for politicians.
Oh, I don't know. It's possible. A lot of,
because
look
you're
at
talking strategy, you're talking image, you're talking putting your best foot forward.
But have you seen nowadays politics is actually run on social media? There's a lot of digital that is done on politics.
It is true. It is true. It is true. But you see, strategy involves immediate, medium term, long term.
Exactly.
But social media is instant.
Yes.
So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And most politicians seem to understand the need to be re-elected in the last year, just before the election. That's when it's like hits them and there's this frenzy.
Yeah.
So seriously speaking, if I look at the trade that you are in, that trade seems to have been tailor-made for politics.
I wouldn't say it's tailor-made for politics alone, but there are a lot of politicians who actually run their campaigns on digital, and it works.
It does, eh? Yeah. Let's take a break. 28 minutes to 8. Kenya's biggest conversation is hosting Brenda Murisha. She is the CEO of Peak and Dale Solutions Limited, integrating technology with marketing. Ebu mwambie about Jericho.
Now,
the Jules.
There are 4 girls. Let me just start from there. They're a group of friends, then they become a gang, and you wonder why. Because life is tough, you know. I don't know that would be the way out, but okay. And they decide the only way we're going to be able to survive in these streets is to, enter into a life of crime. Jules is the head of the group. They live in Jericho, and they're now trying to find out their way to make life happen through the streets and trying to figure out how they're going to do what and the other thing. Then Jules' younger brother gets admitted into a prestigious school, and she's like, you know what? How are we going to actually pay for this? Because she's actually the one who's taking care of him. And that's what really kicks off this life of crime. And the show is called Gigi. So Gigi is the story of how these 4 girls are getting through life, through the streets, and trying to actually make life happen. Unfortunately, they choose this route to go, and just showing you the different intrigues of what they've been through. It's really riveting stuff, and you can find it on Showmax with other great entertainment in terms of shows and TV programs and movies. It's the upgraded streaming platform for Africa. And for as little as 300 shillings, you can watch shows like Gigi and others when you want, where you want, download and watch later. Shika Showmax.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day. Spice up your life. The weather with SpiceFM.
It's sunny at 13 in Nairobi. We'll see highs of 24 and lows of 12. We're looking at 14 and sunny in Nakuru, going to highs of 26, and 23 will be the high. In a sunny Nyeri at 11. 13 and sunny in Eldoret with highs of 24, and looking into a sunny Mombasa at 23. We'll see highs of 30. 27 in Malindi, going to highs of 30. And in Kisumu, it's sunny at 20. We'll see highs of 29 and highs of 28 in a sunny Kakamega at 17. Kampala sunny at 20, we'll see highs of 28. While Dar es Salaam sunny at 22, we'll go to highs of 31. Into a clear Johannesburg at 5 degrees, highs of 19. And Mogadishu, we'll see highs of 30 and lows of 25. It's 15 and sunny in Addis Ababa with highs of 23 and lows of 9. While Lagos is cloudy at 27, we'll see highs of 30. Highs will go to 32 in a mostly cloudy Kinshasa at 22.
Spice and everything nice. SpiceFM.
Spice up your life.
All right, taking a look at the Eastern Bypass, which is actually starting to get a little bit busier than it was about half hour ago. So it's busy going towards North Airport Road. Some of that goes towards Outer Ring, and as you cross over Manyanja to Jogo Road, still off Outer Ring, and then go ahead towards Kangunda Road, that's still busy. Coming to the Allsops Junction on the Thika Superhighway, not much happening here, but you're going to get to Survey, and then through towards Pangani, there's traffic there, and it's pretty heavy now, all because of the tunnel. On Limuru Road, there's also traffic starting to build, as well as coming out of Westlands. Now is the time that everybody seems to be waking up. All right, what's this? This is Mombasa Road. You're going to get out towards the South Sea Junction, heading towards the Nairobi West Junction, Langata Road. That is busy. All sorts of traffic happening there. So it's going to slow things down just a tad. Let's talk on SpiceFM KE on X as we get into traffic hour and keep things moving this morning.
.5 Spice FM, Kisumu. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
24 minutes to 8. Our conversation with Brenda Murisha from Peakandale Solutions Limited continues, integrating technology with marketing. So Brenda, apart from social media, how else do you use technology for marketing?
Yeah. So one of the ways we try to integrate technology in everything that we do. So right from analyzing your customer and getting data and analytics for that customer so that we can be able to give personalized marketing, right? So for instance, if you're a man, you have no business seeing an ad for a salon. Maybe you're married and you want to take your wife, but really it's not your core, you know? So
unless you work there.
No, you just hold it. Repeat that again.
You're a man. Why do you want to see an ad for a salon that is targeted to ladies? So one of the things that we aim to do is to give personalized ads, so to speak, right? Personalized marketing, because now you've all heard of cookies. You know those things that nowadays in websites you're told, do you want to allow cookies or reject? And by there's actually an option where you can reject the cookies. A lot of Kenyans don't know that, so they keep allowing the cookies. But you might be allowing cookies that will not be beneficial for you in any way. Yeah. So if you feel like you can even select the type of cookies that you want to allow, right? Maybe just performance cookies.
You want to go that direction?
Okay.
Let's go.
All right, keep going.
So what are cookies?
Yes. And what is the selection of cookies that are available? Yes. And what are the ingredients?
Do we start eating? So basically the idea is to give you personalized ads, right? So if you're a man and you're seeing a barber shop, then it makes sense, right? So we want to help you get ads that are relevant to you, because ads are here to stay. They're here with us. So we want to help you get the ads that you want to see, really, and not things that you will feel are a nuisance to you. So one of the ways that we do that is definitely through leveraging technology. One of the other ways, and this is something that is really big at the moment, is e-commerce. So a lot of people want to sell online, and e-commerce is basically being able to sell your goods or your services through an online platform. We are currently the e-commerce agency of the year 2023, a title that we hope to retain this year, and if we do, then we'll have been e-commerce agency of the year 3 years in a row.
Awarded by?
The e-commerce institute, I think something that we've seen with SMEs is the fact that you can be able to sell online and do your integrations directly on your website. So one of the things that we're able to do is to allow for payment integrations, to allow for integrations with your other systems, you know, so it becomes a holistic system and you're able to sell your goods directly from that particular platform.
For example?
So payment integration.
All those things you said, integrating
Yes.
solutions.
So I want to sell through M-Pesa, for instance.
Right.
We build for you an e-commerce platform. We give you put for you your products there. Then we integrate
Is an e-commerce platform a website?
It is a website.
Okay.
It's a type of
It's like
website.
a mini site.
Okay.
Yes.
So you build a website, and
So
then
we build the website, give it e-commerce capabilities, and then we integrate it with your M-Pesa. So either your pay bill or your till number, and you're able to get. So when you're shopping, you're able to get your STK push directly on your phone. You put your payment, and you can be able to pay and check out directly. This is also, if anyone goes to our website pickanddeal.com right now, you can be able to go online, purchase a domain. A domain is your online identity, right? So Ndu.com, Latiff.com. So you're able to go make the purchase and have your domain up and running in the next few seconds without talking to any human being. So that's the power of technology, right?
how does this so just speaking about e-commerce, right? So you've created for me an e-commerce platform, and I sell various goods. Say I've just moved from my Mama Eric's general store and put it online. And now there's sukari, chumbi, kibiriti, and all those things. And there are people who'd like to buy. And then there are those who'd like home deliveries. So now create this solution and show me how somebody can come, purchase, add to cart, check out, and all those things. And what's happening, how do I see what's happening as the business owner?
Yes, okay. So you'll have visibility, right, from the back end. And, sometimes you can get technical and so I want to try.
So as Mama Eric,
yes.
Mama Eric can see what's happening.
They can be able to see exactly.
It's like you're in the restaurant and there's an open window.
Actually,
you can see them cooking in the kitchen.
It's the same as your shop, only that now it's online.
And you're not seeing the human being.
You're not seeing the human being. So you're interacting with this particular platform and your customer comes. They're able to add to cart, like you said. They're able to check out, make the payment directly from the website. And not only M-Pesa, there are so many other platforms, Visa and so on and so forth. Make the payment directly from the website. And then their goods will be delivered depending on what you want. So there'll be logistics happening and your goods will actually be delivered to your home. So I'm seated here as a customer, and that's convenience. I'm seated here as a customer. I needed XYZ. I can be able to make my order and get it in the comfort of my home.
Brenda, Mama Eric is your customer. Okay? Eric, CT is shopping on this platform. What is Mama Eric seeing? So as CT goes to mamaericshop.com or .co.ke and is picking kibrit, sukari, chumbi, maftata, whatever, what is Mama Eric seeing? How does Mama Eric know that I have CT in my shop and he's ordered X items in X quantities and he has paid and he wants me to deliver it to his home?
So Mama Eric doesn't even have stress. The only thing they're waiting to see at the back end is their orders coming in. So they see money coming in their wallet, and they see the orders that have come in. So all they need to do from their end is process that order and ensure that it has actually been delivered. So they're not seeing what is happening on the site per se and who is...
not seeing him moving, open page, close page.
No, they're not seeing that. It's a very stress-free experience. So you're actually just waiting for that order to come in, and then all you do is process that order to your customer.
How can Mama Eric reach more people like CT and attract more people to this platform?
I love that question. So now this is where marketing comes in. So you've built a very nice e-commerce platform. But of course, if no one knows about it, then they say it's like winking in the dark, right? So you need to be able to market, right? And that's where now we're able to come and help you market through various avenues. Digital would actually be one of them. So depending on the strategy we craft for you, we tell you the best way to market would be through, for instance, radio, through digital platforms, through TV, through whatever, and we craft for you a strategy that will work for you. And it's also dependent on the type of product you're selling, the type of service that you're selling, right? So digital is usually a first place to start because you're able to measure and see what your return on investment will look like. Yeah.
Okay. Do we see that there's increased uptake of this kind of business by those who are selling and by those who are purchasing?
You say that again?
Do we see that there's an uptake of e-commerce, for example?
Yeah.
Or are people still comfortable going to the shop and picking up the thing as opposed to doing it online?
So that has really increased, especially I think COVID really helped the Kenyan market, right? So a lot of people went online, especially during the COVID period. And what is happening now is when I see my competitor is online, then I also want to make sure that I am online. So there's been a lot of growth within the past couple of years in the online sphere in terms of e-commerce that has really grown in this particular market. There's also been a very large growth in social media. TikTok, we're currently number 1 in the world. Did we know that?
Number 1 what?
Kenya is number 1 in what?
In TikTok.
Doing what?
Usage in the world. Yeah.
How do you measure this, number 1? In terms of the frequency with which people use it?
Interact, yes.
The number of people who use it?
Yes.
All those TikTok and the TikTok.
Okay, go on.
So mobile penetration has also really increased, and I think that's another area that if you're not marketing for, then you're losing out as well. Everyone is on this device. Everyone is on this gadget. So that means that you need to tailor your communication for mobile. What we're able to do now is provide websites that are actually mobile responsive, right, or device responsive, and you can tailor your message for that particular user. So I could put something that is different for a desktop user and different for a mobile user. But mobile marketing is actually becoming very big in the world at this particular time.
Yeah, because I imagine that there's some people who maybe have never, in the last 5 years, have never stood up from where they are to go to shop or market. But then also looking at the development of infrastructure, that means that everything across the line then has to work, doesn't it?
Yes.
That when you're sitting behind your computer or on your phone and you're making an order online, and just as a form of, selling, where we are saying this technology or this innovation is going to allow worlds of things that we've not been able to imagine, right? But at the same time, there's critical infrastructure that's needed to make sure that you go from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And are we seeing that is developing over time? For example, I make an order here and it just goes seamlessly to the next step. I've made a payment, mobile wallet, whatever.
Yeah.
I can see that that's paid. It's gone through, and then I can pick up the next tab for delivery, and it actually gets to me. There's no
Yeah.
Are we seeing that because of infrastructure development, we can see the seamless, end-to-end process? And it would encourage more people to say, well, you know what? Actually, I can do that.
Yeah. We're seeing that quite a bit. And even supermarkets, are even encouraging their customers, you shop online, we'll deliver it to your house. You don't need to come to the supermarket, And a lot of even larger businesses that we never thought would do that are actually doing that. But I like what you've talked about in terms of infrastructure. So Kenya has really improved in terms of infrastructure. And I think it's one area that I feel the government has paid attention to, and probably even the private sector, because, Wi-Fi now is really, really accessible. I don't know if we are at the affordable bit yet, but Wi-Fi is more or less extremely affordable. Available in Kenya. So what that does is that it helps people, and even data. right? And we improved. You know, just a few years ago we were using 2G. Now no one knows Edge.
What's that?
Yeah. So we're all on 4G, 5G. And so what that has done is that it's enabled people to be able to actually go online without even thinking about it. You're not worried about, it's not a question of, am I able to get online? It's a question of, what am I able to do while online? So yeah, infrastructure has really improved.
Brenda, I'm sure you'll attest to when you deal with very many organizations and you find them having some bit of a confusion or a mix between the two functions of marketing and sales, right? And many will have, it's the same, you go and market our products. They mean go and sell our products, right?
Yeah.
So how do you work with organizations, first of all, to create that awareness and the distinction between those two?
Yeah.
So that if they bring you on board for the marketing function, they clearly understand that what you're doing is not a sales function. How do you create that awareness?
Yeah, so one of the things that we do is education, right? Consumer education. And we try to do that through various ways, just to help people understand that there is a difference, right? And marketing is not necessarily selling. And if selling is your end goal, then we can achieve it. But there is a process to achieving that. And how do we achieve that in a most efficient way? So, of course, a lot of consumer education. And then, like I said, we help you also to just craft and understand what is the best direction to go. How do we craft a strategy for you to be able to achieve what you need to achieve?
How have we seen businesses grow? Literally, because folks will say, okay, well, maybe I want to try this. But then, how have you seen businesses grow where somebody was out of their kitchen selling crisps or whatever, and then now, because they used innovation to then get from point A to point B, then you can actually see that there's an increase in their sales and that there's an increase, or rather more impact can be felt than on brand awareness and brand recognition. How do we see that as a result of this implementation, that businesses have actually grown from where 10 people in your neighborhood were using or buying your product to now thousands?
So I met a lady yesterday who was telling me about her business. She sells food and she sells affordable lunches. And one of the things that she wanted to do was to be able to reach a wider market. So she has a shop, it's a small shop, and she has the capability to provide all this food. And I told her, I mean, one of the easiest ways would be to actually go online. During the COVID, I think just before, we created a product for SMEs. It's called freewebsite.co.ke. And at that time, it actually won an award by Kenik for most innovative product at that particular time. And what we were doing is we were enabling SMEs to build a website at the click of a button and in a very short time. So you're able to come, put your products online, and you're able to start selling as quickly as possible, right? So what this did is that it helped a lot of SMEs who are brick and mortar, to be able to come online and to be able to start selling online. And then they discovered that if I am selling in this new platform, I'm able to reach new customers that I was not able to reach, right? And so that means that my business is able to grow. So now I start thinking about my business differently. What can I be able to do more to reach those people more and to be able to grow my business? I think the ripple effect is really, really big. I'm able to reach more people. I'm able to create more opportunities. There are more lines because there's logistics coming in. There's probably integrations coming in. There's a lot of, it's a whole ecosystem that is being created by just this one thing.
How many P's in marketing?
Pardon?
How many P's?
5 P's.
5, 7. So you're on the 5. Okay. Of the 5, is there any that's important? First of all, which are those 5? And is there any that you say, if you miss this one out, then you're not marketing?
I feel like all are important, but maybe just to say that it's also dependent on what it is that you're selling.
Okay.
Right? So, for instance, price could be a factor depending on what it is that you're selling. So, if it's a commodity that is probably not very differentiated, then price would be, you want to give a price that is optimal. However, if you're selling a legal service, for instance, then because of the value that you're offering, price will not be the conversation that you'll start at, right? Your product, you have to get your product right. If your product is not right, then what are you putting out there to sell? If you get the product wrong, I'll buy it once, but they say you fool me once, but you won't be able to get me to purchase it again because the product was not right. So I think it's a question of the type of business, again, boils down to strategy, the type of business, the type of product that you are selling, and what really you want to be able to achieve.
So this is where the strategy now comes in.
Yes,
all right?
correct.
And what you're saying is it's important as you start thinking about your marketing, come up with a strategy.
Yes.
What are the downsides of that? Because we see many people who just, the strategy is here. My strategy is get more sales, make more money.
Make more money.
See more people, walk my shop, buy my products, pay me money, me make more money.
And there's no strategy
complete.
Yeah, and so what that does is that you'll probably make it for a short time, right? But then you won't make it for the long haul. If you're going in it for the long haul, then you need to be strategic about your marketing. And that's something that we really insist on, that you have to be strategic about your marketing. It'll be hit and miss. So you'll do it because, I want to do it like this. So you'll do it and it'll work maybe, but it's trial and error. You don't really know that this is where I'm going to. You don't even have a goal in the first place. So what are you trying to achieve? Right? So it has to be strategic.
Listening to you, I get the impression that, I talked about politicians.
Yeah.
I want to upscale that discussion.
Yeah.
Government could do with a marketing agency.
They could, and Pick and Dale should be the marketing agency that they choose. So actually, one of the
right, pick it and run with it. Okay.
Actually, one of the things that we're doing right now is we're actually marketing Kenya as a destination, and a magical Kenya, and. I like to say that we are the biggest influencer marketing agency at the moment, which is another marketing channel that you can use. And so what we are doing is we are using influencers to be able to actually market Kenya as the tourist destination that you want to visit. So they come, they visit, and they go back and tell a story. And it's a very, very powerful form of marketing.
How so? Give us an example.
So you'll believe me if I'm your friend, right?
Yeah.
So people trust the word of people they like or they know, right?
Yep.
And what is happening, and we've seen in the past couple of years, is people trust the words of influencers that they actually like or they listen to, right? So if Latiff says something and we know Latiff, and then we're
he's a truthful man.
Yes, he's a truthful man. So we're definitely likely to believe what he says, right? And so it's very powerful in that sense, because when they come here and they have this authentic experience that they can be able then to go back to their country and tell people, look, this is what I went through, then people want to be able to experience that as well. So influencer marketing has been very integral in our marketing. One of the things that we also do is have influencer marketing for product, and we've had influencers who've helped to grow a product, but then there's also a process and a strategy behind it.
Not everybody.
Selection. Will they interact with your brand? Will they love your brand? Will they be authentic? And so on and so on.
Okay. So the 36 bloggers of Kina Dennis Itumbi. It's marketing for government.
But back to your political question.
You see, the thing is,
time is gone. But it's 8 a.m. Brenda, thank you very much for joining us today. Brenda Marisha is the CEO at Peak and Dale Solutions Limited. And you said the website is peakandale.com.
Peakandale.com.
Okay. 8 a.m. Time for the news.
Good morning, this is News. I'm Dennis Aseto. Now, after reading the 2024-2025 budget yesterday, all eyes are now on how the government will finance the budget, contrary to what happened before, where a large amount of budget was financed by loans from various organizations. This time, the government has said that it will rely heavily on taxes to finance the budget. Here are the details on how the Treasury CS Professor Njuguna will be looking on how to finance the budget.
We want to create a tax system that is not only predictable to taxpayers, but also yields predictable revenues to government. We want to develop a tax system that supports markets, that supports production, consumption, and even investments. Mr. Speaker, the year 2024-2025 marks the beginning of these reforms through the proposed amendments in various tax laws contained in the Finance Bill 2024.
The CS said the government also aims to reduce the deficit in the next financial year's budget from 5.7% of the GDP to only 3.3%.
Mr. Speaker, the focus of our fiscal policy thus remains to reduce the deficit from 5.7% of GDP in the current financial year to 3.3% in the financial year 2024-2025. We're going to do this through various means. First, domestic resource mobilization. Mr. Speaker, implementation of government's plan for rapid and inclusive socio-economic transformation largely depends on robust revenue growth rate.
The government has said that among the ambitious tax collection strategies that there are plans to borrow from international organizations as opposed to the previous years where the country was borrowing from local banks. Chris Kipto is the PS Treasury.
Already KRA is growing at 15%. The revenues are growing. And the full impact of the tax measures that have been put in place have not necessarily been felt. It takes time. There are lags in effect. For instance, measures last year that were approved by Parliament, we had a court case. It took a few months, maybe about a month for the court to lift, and then we were able to implement. Some measures were not beginning in July. Some were beginning in September. Some were beginning in this January to be implemented. So the full impact of those measures have not necessarily been felt. But we have seen a 63% progress in implementing those tax measures for last year.
And some opposition leaders have opposed the budget for the financial year 2025-2026, saying it completely violates the promises made by President William Ruto during the campaigns. They add that the 2024-2025 finance bill oppresses the people due to the proposed taxes on basic products. Kenyans have also said that the budget has gone against what they expected.
Kwanza mimi am very disappointed na rais wetu. Alisema yeye ni asila. Kumbe ameingia kutunyanyasa na kutudhulumu. Kwani hizi taxes wakati wa uhuru hazikukua? Kwa nini kila siku yeye ni kuongeza?
Chumi iko chini. Hata kaunti yetu hakuna hata pesa yenye inasaidia au watu wafanye nayo hivi wasaidie vile watu vile wanasaidianga watu wengine kwa njia ya school fee nini.
Martha Karua is the NARC Kenya party leader.
This regime is busy making a budget for itself in violation of Article 203 of the Constitution and Article 43. Budget making is about making the right choices that can lead to a much safer Kenya based on a true reference and respect for the people.
The Makadara High Court will remain closed until Monday. This is according to Chief Justice Martha Koome. This after the incident that saw Chief Magistrate Monica Kivuti get shot by an officer and OCS during the sessions yesterday. It is reported that the OCS attacked Judge Kivuti while she was reading the sentence against the officer's wife, who was found guilty of fraud. Now, according to the police commander here in Nairobi, the incident happened when the judge was reading the judgment against the officer's wife, Jennifer Wairimu Kabiro. The OCS Samson Kipruto of Londiani Kericha Station shot the judge in the thighs and chest, forcing the police to shoot him and kill him on the spot. It is reported that the bond of his wife, who is facing fraud charges of 29 million shillings, was cancelled for failing to attend the hearing sessions. In addition, 3 officers were injured as a result of the shooting and are being treated, while the judge, Monica Kivuti, is in the ICU.
There had been a case which is ongoing, and the ruling was determined today. And during the time of that ruling or judgment given, a situation erupted up in court number 9, whereby one suspect entered to the courts and injured the magistrate in that particular court and the orderlies.
This is Newsroom Dennis Aseda. Good morning.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
Yes. That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
102.5 Spice FM, Kisumu.
All right, few minutes after 8 o'clock, and what are we looking at in terms of traffic? Very busy coming off of Langata Road, heading towards the Nyeri Stadium roundabout, and also then coming in from the Thika Superhighway. There is traffic, and it's heavy right around Survey. They're going towards the Pangani underpass. Limuru Road has packed a punch all the way through towards Muthaiga, and then out towards the CBD. So that's very, very heavy. Coming out of Westlands also quite crazy. James Gishero coming in from Zima Springs, and also beyond that through towards the Red Hill Link Road, crossing over Waiaki Way. Extremely busy as well. We're in traffic hour proper this Friday morning. Let's take a quick look at what's going off of the Eastern Bypass, and that has reduced a little bit as you get towards Outer Ring at the junction. And then through towards Outer Ring itself, out towards Manyanja Road. We're keeping an eye on all of this. Let's talk in like half an hour, yeah? SpiceFM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eiric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
And the only way to take advantage of the KRA tax amnesty is by talking to them. And how do you talk to them? City, what's the number?
Well, 0711 099 999.
0711 099 999.
Yes, okay. That is the number, and you call it at the end of it. There'll be somebody who will respond, and when they respond, you can tell them, wait, I'm so sorry. I have not paid you for so long, but I want to pay. Explain to them the problem, they'll understand, and they'll tell you, first of all, we've got good news for you. There's good news and there's good news. This isn't good or bad news. Good news is we are offering you an amnesty, but it's conditional. If by the end of this month, all right, the end of this month, you are able to sort out certain pending payments, and we're talking about the debts that you owe up ending the year 2022, okay? We haven't come to 2023 yet. We have charged you penalties, we've charged you interest because you delayed in getting your payments in on time. We will forego that. We'll also arrange for you to have a discussion that will work out a payment plan to carry. It's something that you can afford. Now, surely, that is good news piled upon good news. Amnesty, then an installment plan. Yes. But you have to call.
It's a very good thing.
They're not going to call and tell you. You
have to
call
talk to
them and explain to them your circumstances and then listen to them and ask questions so that you understand fully. Yes.
Okay. Ndu?
Yes?
If I want to win some 200,000 shillings this month, what do I do?
Okay, I have a way for you. You've heard of a bank called Stanbic?
Yes.
Okay, so you...
It's been in the country since 1902 what again?
1902.
My God. Hey, in Kenya.
Switch to that bank because there's a way you can get that 200k. So switch, or if you have an account already there that maybe you've not activated for some time, or if it's just that 50,000 into that account, deposit. Switch from your current account in whatever other institution you are to Stanbic. Open the account, deposit 50,000 shillings in it. Every month there are people who are winning money.
Pesa. Taslim.
I'm telling you, there's a winner, there's a runner-up, there's a second runners-up.
20 winners per month.
Yes,
200,000 shillings, big prize. 100,000 shillings, second big prize. 50,000 shillings, third big prize.
And then at the end of it all, by September, there's a grand draw whereby the first is winning 1 million shillings, then 500,000 shillings, and then the third 300,000 shillings. So is money a problem? This is what you need to do to get it sorted out. It really is very, very simple. And you don't have to now stand up from where you are, walk down to the bank, do the thing. No, from your phone, you can actually get on to the site, digitally open your account by yourself. ID is what you need. Open it and you keep it moving.
And this
then
is not
you
like
can even change your salary to be going to that bank.
But it's not like those kanya things that you're told to do. You sent to you. The 50,000 shillings you deposit in your account is yours.
It's your
You're
money.
not losing it because you didn't win in the draw. No. Your money is yours. Sawa. Next conversation. Let's have. This is going to be our quasi Health Friday conversation. We have had the ongoing talk now countrywide, and it's actually gaining momentum. Started in Mombasa, went into Kwale, Kilifi, went into Taita Taveta. It has come all the way to Machakos. Governor Wavinya Ndeki is like, let's discuss this Muga. Let's discuss what's happening. Can we have a conversation about it? And of course, we know the counties that produce Muga are also having their own conversation. Embu, Meru, they're saying, okay, let's discuss Muga in this hour. But what exactly is happening with Muga? And that's why we have invited this morning Mahmoud Noor. He is the founder and chief mentor at Swahili Port Hub Foundation, based in Mombasa. Mahmoud, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Welcome to the hot seat of the situation room.
Thank you, and I'm honored to be here with you guys.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
We want to hear what your experience is working with the youth, you as a mentor for the youth. And what this Muga then is doing, what you have seen. But City will welcome you with the day's proverb, and then takwambia about nyama, halal meats.
Well, this is our last proverb from the Republic of Zambia. The whole of this week, our proverbs have been from that country, the country of Zambia. Don't start a fight just because your companion is strong.
Don't start a fight just because your companion is strong. Mahmoud, what's your interpretation of this?
I think for me, even when you have, for example, your dad or an associate who is okay, you should not assume that they will join you in something, probably a negative thing that you have started, or even a good thing that you have started. It's all about relying on yourself, not relying on others, because ultimately it is you who can either make something or get out of something. So you should never rely on other people. You only rely on yourself.
Yes.
You know, I've been thinking about this as we've been talking. The companion doesn't need to be a person. It can be a position you currently hold, a job you currently have, because at some point
money you currently
have. Thank you.
Political position
you currently have. Yes, because at some point you will not have them. Then what? Because that day definitely will come. And then what?
Kutaendaje? Sijui nisome, kuna katuni ya leo kwenye Standard. Sijui nisome, niangalie.
Soma tafadhali.
Wacha niangalie the editorial katuni leo. You know the Standard cartoons are by Gumzo. So Gumzo has put a cartoon here. There's a man who's been caricatured in this cartoon. There's an arrow pointing towards State House. Okay? And the man there, I don't know who this man is, says, gazeti ni ya kufunga nyama. That was then. State House is now behind him. And he's now looking, facing the other direction. And the arrow this time is pointing towards press conference. Lazima magazeti yaandike hii story. Vile nimenyanyaswa.
I think it's what City has said. When we are in certain positions, we tend to forget. In fact, Waswahili wanasema wakati mwingine unachimba kaburi, kumbe unajichimbia mwenyewe. You think unamchimbia mtu mwingine. So it's important when you're in certain positions, remember that tomorrow you will not be there. And whatever you're doing to others will be done unto you sometimes later.
Okay, very good. So Swahili Pot, what is it?
Swahili Pot is we call it, young people call it a safe space. We started it as a tech space. In fact, its history, what took me to Mombasa in 2007-8 was to do the undersea fiber optic cable all the way from South Africa, around 18,000 kilometers, to Mozambique, Mombasa, Djibouti, Egypt, France, London, and also Fujairah, Mumbai, Jeddah, Fujairah, Mumbai. So that's what took me there. So when I was in Mombasa, some of the interns that I was dealing with were at iHub here. And they were telling me one of our biggest problems is internet connectivity. So I made a case, although I am a technical person, but I'm always passionate about community. So I made a case to the board of CICOM to give hubs at that time free connectivity. And we were able to support iHub, NILAB, MLab, Nairobi Garage, and Outbox in Kampala, free internet. So after we started that, I think when we were launching with Professor Bitange then, the question that I asked, the cable lands in Mombasa. Why are we doing everything in Nairobi? Why is every innovation, every tech is in Nairobi?
Very good question.
And you know, for example, when you are doing competitions here and you're using the web and you say the person who will connect first is the winner, the answer that comes in, you know, you cannot compete with somebody who's in Mombasa because he has a 5 milliseconds advantage over you.
Right.
So we have an advantage in Mombasa. That should be the default place for everything. So I asked that questions with Akina Professor, but when I went back to Mombasa, I said, let me do something. And that is when I saw a building that was not being used by the government at the National Museum of Kenya next to the landing station, and I requested for the building. Then I committed capacity from CICOM because I was in charge of CICOM for the space. Because for a space, you need free internet, you need the space itself physically, and now the partners came in. So that is how we started Swahili Pot Hub. Together with the ICT Authority, CICOM brought in capacity. Later on, we started the Cisco Academy, Huawei Academy. Liquid has been also very supportive. And after we started it as a tech space, the numbers were around 70. Then we asked ourselves, we are building this thing for young people. Why are they not coming? And I think that's why they said in Mombasa, they love creatives. So we decided let it be the first tech and arts center. When we did that, within the first 3 to 6 months, the number rose from 70 to around 1,000. Now it is a place, yes, because young people in Mombasa are talented. They are gifted when it comes to music, acting. I remember even Lulu and her team, when they were starting, they were actually doing rehearsals at Swahili Pot many years back. So we have a lot of gifted and talented young people in Mombasa. When you're talking about soccer, they are the best players. So that is how it started. Tech, and then now with creatives. But now, because we are at Fort Jesus, we are also doing heritage as well. So and when I started it, I supported the center for around 5 years. That was my contribution to Mombasa and the coast. And what I was selling, I was giving people hope. In fact, I was telling them there's no money that I can give you. We had and also I call them an army of volunteers. A lot of young people who are running that space. You go to the space, at the moment the management is around 70 of them. But at any one time, whenever we have the events that we do annually, you'll have up to around 1,000 people. And at the same time, I chair the Kenya Red Cross in Mombasa. So it is the same young people that I work with. And the unique thing, Eiric, with the team that we have at Swahili Pot, in my management, you'll find an advocate of the High Court, but also somebody who reached Standard 7. And the Standard 7 person is actually having a bigger impact. So why do young people identify with Swahili Pot? We don't profile them. You come in with your dreadlocks, you come in with whatever way you are. Even when you are a Mugokachiwa, or I can see you are taking bank. Like the 4 young people that I took from the streets. Now 2 of them are doing sound engineering for Swahili Pot Hub. So it's a place where everybody takes it as their home. And for me, I was selling them hope. But one thing that I told them I will give them is connections in terms of the 25 years that I've been in different industries, is to give them that easily. So it's a place where you'll meet government officials, you'll meet private sector, ambassadors always visit Swahili Pot. A number of them have gotten Fulbright scholarships, Chevening scholarships. But for me, the most important thing that we are doing is giving people hope and telling them that they can prosper. So that is Swahili Pot Hub.
How many people right now?
The regular ones that use it are around 2,000. The ones that are in our database are at 19,000. So 19,000 have registered and are participating whenever we have either skills development, because one of the key things that we are doing, and it is what our young people want, is give them first a place where they can meet safely. And I tell them, even for those that are, even some of them, because I know they're in bang or using certain drugs, but they know once you're at Swahili Pot, it's a drug-free zone. You can't do it. So once they come there, the ones that are coming regularly, in any day, like yesterday, I think we were doing we normally do almost quarterly a community meetup. We had around 1,000 people who are there. So we have those who come in every day, but we have a larger number who are coming from Kilifi, Kwale, and Mombasa. Because also in Mombasa, when somebody is staying in Diani, Ndu, I think you will tell him that you will say that he's from Mombasa. So they're not looking at those boundaries. So Diani, Mtwapa, they will be coming every day to Swahili Pot. Yeah.
Where exactly is this situated?
We actually at Fort Jesus, behind Fort Jesus.
Now I've got when you said the museum, I was thinking, where? I realized, but the museum is where? Fort Jesus is where this thing ought to be.
Yes.
I have understood exactly where it is now.
Yes, actually, next to the governor's office. In fact, between the governor's office and Fort Jesus Museum and the sea, because we also have an amphitheater. That is where Swahili Pot is.
When you're talking of talents, you missed one out.
Yes.
Swimmers.
Yes, I think that is an area that has not been utilized.
Yes.
We have very good swimmers in Mombasa. We have the advantage of the ocean. But I think it is an area that we need to get into it. But unfortunately, we can't get into everything. At times, you need to select certain things that you think are your niche.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got to be strategic.
Yes.
Mahmood, drug and substance abuse
Yes.
is rampant across the country, but it has affected the coastal counties. Many have talked about, the various different drugs and how youth are just disillusioned, and they end up in this, they end up in substance abuse, they end up in crime. And when you're saying that it's a safe space, I see that that's what you're trying to attract. You're trying to show them, no, don't be disillusioned. There's hope, like you said. Now there's Mogoka. I just want to hear about Mogoka because you've heard everybody talking about your Mogoka. You're dealing with 19,000 registered youth at Swahili Hub. What is the Mogoka issue in the coast?
I think the reason why Mogoka is dangerous is because when you walk all over, you see it. A child coming out of school or getting into school, most of the time it's coming out of school. But unfortunately, you at times, even from very early morning, I don't know how Mogoka reaches very early in the morning in Mombasa. So it's available every time. So you go to school, you will pass like 3 centers of Mogoka while you're only staying 100 meters or 200 meters away from school. So it is easily available, it is cheap. If your parent has given you 20 shillings to kununua viazi, 2 of you will changa 20, then you have Mogoka. So it is cheap, available everywhere. And then I think why it is dangerous, because it's an entry-level drug. So people will look at it as just harmless leaves. Young people will want to try it out. And why do young people try it out? Because if you look at the coast, and I'm sure also most parts of Kenya, the family unit has broken down. A lot of young people do not have guidance. And I think that is where the gap that we are also trying to fill. Because many years when we were growing up, we were in a safe environment. I grew up in Nakuru. My hometown is Nakuru. So when I grew up in Nakuru, it's like the society and the families shielded us from certain things. At the moment, the day you leave your mother's womb, everything that is surrounding you is negative or things that you cannot even comprehend. So when the family unit has broken, then we have a lot of young people who are guiding themselves. So you'll find 10-year-old, 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds, they do not have somebody who is telling them this is what you're not supposed to do this. Or they do not have a guardian who is looking at them. Some of them, yes, they have parents, but the parents themselves either are hustling, times are very hard, so they are always out there,
parents.
They don't have time. Others are there, but they do not have the time. And in fact, others, because I also mentor a lot of young people. I remember during COVID, there was a time I sent out a request for young people to register in Mombasa to support their colleagues. In 3 days, 9,000 registered. So it tells you that we also have a lot of young people who want to do good stuff. So I worked with around 3,000 because we were doing mapping the whole day and distribution. But the point that I wanted to bring is I noticed some girls, young girls and pretty girls, that from the whole morning they're with us, the whole night they're with us, and it's like they're avoiding to go home. So when I started discussing with them, actually home is another place that they don't want to be, because either the pressure from parents and also bad influence from parents. So they are trying to get anything good that they can do. And that's why in Mombasa, when you look at the social work, we have a lot of young people and especially girls who are doing that. So you also have parents who are bad influence to their kids. And the kids do not want to do what their parents are. So I think that is the danger that we are having. When you do not have people who can guide, they are on their own. Then you get to 20 shillings, 10 shillings. You are able to get, as a 10-year-old, you can get Mogoka. And that is why some of them are actually beating their teachers in school, even in primary. The teachers fear these kids because they also get into juvenile gangs. So for us, what we are looking at, it might be helping those who are producing, but for us, the effects, especially socially, we actually breaking down, or we're actually losing a whole generation.
Mahmoud, it's interesting that you bring in that aspect, because, you know, I found myself wondering what the issue could be. So are you saying essentially that the drug, or any drug for that matter, is now being used as an avenue to cope? It's a mechanism that's being used to cope.
Yes.
But the fundamental issue is something else. And it's not being dealt with. So even if you do remove the Muga today, it is going to be filled by something else.
Yeah,
it will be replaced by something else.
Very true.
So are you saying this is not a Muguka issue, but that there is another issue that Muguka is just being used as an avenue to deal with?
I agree with you, because it is one thing that is easily available. And I'm sure once you remove Muguka and you still have
that problem,
they will find something else. So I think we also, even as we address these drugs, we need to address the root cause. And one of the things, because normally I don't like complaining. One of the things that we have done at Swahili Port Hub, we did a survey around 4 years ago, asking the young people what are the priorities that they want. And, most people will say, tunataka kazi, tunataka pesa. Unfortunately, that was not the number one thing. They asked for mentorship.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the number one thing. So at Swahili Port Hub...
How do they say it? Well, what do they use?
No, we ask them questions. And they said, we want guidance. We want mentorship. Because they do not have people who are holding their hands. So that is the number one thing that...
You carried out a survey.
Yes.
Among the
young people, yes.
And let me just get detailed. So the question you asked was, what are the things that you prioritize as important in your life?
Yes, without even telling them...
There were no options given.
Yes.
It is for them to actually speak.
Yes.
And when you analyze the responses, the things you're saying are what were prevalent.
Yes.
Now, knowing the social setup within, say, Mombasa, you're then saying that when young people ask for mentorship or someone to guide them, clearly the homes from which they come, what they're looking for is not there.
It's not there, yes.
Now, how are you connecting this with Muguka?
Why we are connecting it?
Yes.
It's because then when you do not have somebody who is guiding you in the right direction, then you are only in your own groups. And I think if you look at even the juvenile gangs, they recruit themselves, whether it is in school or out of school. And because you do not have somebody to ask questions, you go and ask your fellow 12-year-old.
Your contemporary.
Yes, or 15-year-old. They have never even left Mombasa, or they are just within Likoni or within Kisauni. And I think also one of the biggest problems is, who are the role models? You'll see the role model in the society are the ones who are doing vices, because they are the ones who are living large, because either they are doing illegal stuff, they are stealing from other people, they are probably in drugs, either selling or whatever. So for you, and when you are a gangster, you are feared, and probably because unapiga watu ngeta, then you have money. So if these are your role models, because we are not seeing good people that are shining, so you want to be like them. So at 12-year-old, 13-year-old, I'm sure even the movies that they will be watching, it is gangsterism stuff. Yeah. So when they sit down, now they say for us to do like there's a program that I was working with Mama Shamsa in Nyeri, with the Red Cross Swahili Port, and we were doing reforming, and I think that one I really need to give it to one OCS Chebi, who opened the police station to these gangsters to come in. So we were talking to them, and they were saying, because like there's a team that even beat up the police. So we're asking them, where do you get these guts? They say once they use those drugs, they see you like an insect. They can do anything to you. And I think that's why for us, why it is dangerous. You start with Mogoka, then at times it doesn't get very high.
enough.
There are some tablets they buy from the chemist. I don't know the name. It makes their lips blue. So once they have this, they can do anything. And then tomorrow you meet the same person, Eiric. He has no idea that he did all that yesterday.
Wow. Let's take a break. 26 minutes to 9. Our guest this morning in our Health Friday conversation is from Mombasa, Mahmood Noor. He's a founder and chief mentor at Swahili Port Hub. It's in Mombasa next to Fort Jesus. It's been there for how many years now?
Now it is 7th year, yes.
Okay. And you're doing a lot in terms of just mentoring young people and seeing the connection between the societal problems, drugs, crime, and what is missing.
Yeah.
Let's continue this conversation shortly.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Everybody, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Eiric Latifa, Muga, Madam Ndu, nimesalamia wote sana.
Tumepokea salamu, asante sana.
Hapa Garissa today the weather is very good, only that baridi inatupeleka mbio sana.
Baridi ni degree ngapi hapo?
Hata sijui lakini madam tunakauka sana.
If you want to follow the money trail, you've got to think like a thief to be able to catch that thief.
A slap from a friend is better than a kiss from an enemy. You remember the kiss of Judas Iscariot? Iscariot.
Yes.
Is the one that imetuweka kwa hii mashida yote na mataabu kwa sababu of that kiss. Yet the slap of Jesus Christ when he slapped those guys wenye walikuwa wanauza mboga ndani ya kanisa took them to heaven.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The weather with SpiceFM.
Sunny in Nairobi at 14, highs of 24, and we'll see highs of 26 in a sunny Nakuru at 15. It's 15 and sunny in Nyeri with highs of 23, and we'll see highs of 25 in a sunny Eldoret at 15. Mombasa at 24 is sunny, highs of 31, and we'll see highs of 30 in a sunny Malindi at 28. 23 and sunny in Kisumu with highs of 29, while into Kakamega at 20, it's sunny going to highs of 29. Kampala is sunny at 22, highs of 28. 31 will be the high in a sunny Dar es Salaam at 23. While Johannesburg at 6 degrees is sunny, we'll see highs of 19. Mogadishu at 28, sunny as well with highs of 31. And it's mostly sunny at 16 in Addis Ababa, going to highs of 23 and lows of 9. It's a cloudy morning in Lagos at 26 with highs of 30. And we'll see highs of 32 in a partly sunny Kinshasa at 23.
Chilled Spice.
In and outbound traffic on Kangundo Road today, very busy, going towards Outer Ring, which incidentally not too bad, except you're at the junction coming in from that Embakasi loop through towards the Pipeline Railway stop. So that's very busy. There's some traffic just coming off of North Airport Road in from the Eastern Bypass right around the aviation. But apart from that, I think we're all right. Coming in towards the roundabout at the City Mortuary, there's a lot of traffic on Raila Odinga Way, and Ngong Road is also giving through towards the city community out in that area. All right, we're still in traffic hour. Let's see what happens this Friday morning. Just in case you run into anything, talk to us on SpiceFM, KE on X, hashtag the Situation Room.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
So let's continue our conversation with Mahmood Noor from Swahili Port Hub in Mombasa, and looking at the issues that you're saying are emerging from the number of years that you've worked there, and the youth that you've worked with, the other community leaders that you've engaged. There's clearly a breakdown here. But there's a breakdown of very many things. There's a breakdown of family unit. There's a breakdown at a bigger community level in terms of just community cohesion. There's a breakdown in government agencies that should be coming in to help as well, right? For example, Department of Children's Services, how good is it? The Social Services Department, how good is it? And all the others. So people who just get into one step wrong, they take the wrong turn completely. But back at the back of their mind, they think they know that they have taken a wrong step. And that's why when they come to Swahili Hub, they know, when they're coming to Swahili Port rather, they know that this is a place where maybe I can get things right again. What are those systemic failures? What are they?
I think you cannot pinpoint one person. You can't say it's government. You can't say it's parenting. You can't say it is the religious institutions or private sector. I think it's all of us. We all need to see the part that we are playing in this. For example, the private sector. If you do not build, if you do not invest in the young people and build a safer and healthy society, whom will you sell whatever you have to? So I think it is something altogether. But I also wanted to drift a little bit city. And it's one of the things that I also wanted to raise here. Yes, we have these issues, Mogoka and all these negatives that is happening. But there are also very good things happening in Mombasa. And fortunately, we normally give a lot of coverage to negativity, but also there are very good stories of young people, innovators, entrepreneurs, people who are struggling to make a difference. And I think that is one area where, as Swahili Port and other partners, we try. We want to focus more on the innovators, on the young people who are struggling to do certain businesses, the startups that they have. Because now, when we start shedding Mombasa in positive light, then we'll be able also to attract more investment into Mombasa. But if the only story that anybody is hearing is insecurity, Mogoka, drugs, etc., then we will never turn that around. And I think that's why for us at Swahili Port Hub, like what we do every year with the Pwani Innovation Week, even before the Pwani Innovation Week, like yesterday we were having the Pitching Thursday. For all these years, every Thursday, you have an idea, a business idea, you have something good that you want to do in the community, you come and pitch it in front of your fellow young people. Yesterday we were lucky that we had the Director General of ICROM from Rome, who witnessed the Pitching Thursday. So I think for us also is with the Pitching Thursday, then every year we have the Pwani Innovation Week, where we bring not only the whole of Kenya, but Africa and the world to come and see what young people of Mombasa are doing when it comes to innovation, when it comes to technology, when it comes to whatever business. And we tell them innovation is not only technology, it's just doing things in a better way. So for me also, I want to focus on that so that we dwell on investing for the future.
Amplify the positive.
Yes.
Do you think, and it could serve as a political question, Mahmoud, but do you think that the ban on Mogoka will solve the issue? A ban. I'm not going to say the ban. Do you think a ban on Mogoka would solve the issue?
I think it might to an extent, but I think the conversation more should be on regulation, because maybe people look an example of alcohol. Alcohol, it's a legal thing. But in fact, even its effect, you cannot compare it with Mogoka. But why can't I, even when I go to the supermarket, I have to really look for it. They cannot even put billboards to advertise. When you are at home, you can't access it very fast while it's legal. So I think for me, it might not... It will solve to some extent, but I think what is important, people need a discussion around it so that everybody plays their part. For the social things that are not related to Mogoka, because when you do, immediately you ban it, people will get an alternative. For those who are taking that so that they can cool off because of the frustrations that they have in life, they will look for something else. And maybe immediately they will go to even a harder drug or even a more tough one. So for me, it's about having a discussion. And that discussion should not only be about Mogoka. I think it should be about our youth, and are we supporting them? Do they have a chance in life? because a lot of them feel then they do not have a chance in life, and that's why they engage in these other things. So this should be a whole discussion. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a generation of young people in Mombasa who do, when they glance at the future, what they see is gloom. They don't see hope. They don't see a future. Why?
I think it's when you look at your surrounding. Why is it in Mombasa there? When you go to other places, the population is increasing. So even the intake in schools are increasing. But you go to some schools in Mombasa, you are told 15 years ago they had 4 streams. Now they have 1 stream. Like, for example, Serani. It's Serani Secondary. So and that is Serani Boys. By the way, for the girls, the enrollment is very high. I'm the chairman of the BOM for Mekatilili. Every day there are people who are coming in. I think we focused a lot in protecting the girl child. And this boy, either we neglected him or we allowed them to fend for themselves out there. So I think that if we need to focus on the key issues, more it will be on the boy child, because they have dropped out of schools for one reason or the other. I remember in 2018, because I had that time the deputy governor, who is an educationist, mentioning that the transition rate was around 38% from primary to secondary, where you have other parts of the country, it's almost 100%. So where did these boys go? And then you're asking, when you see them with pangas in Kisauni and Likoni, because one, they have dropped out of school, and then now, whenever there are employments, you ask them to bring a CV. They don't even know what a CV is. So they feel this world, everybody is against them.
Are the jobs even there?
To be sincere, since I came in, you see, like I used to live in Nairobi until 2010. So whenever I come back here, I see the growth. In Mombasa, I don't remember seeing industries growing. In fact, I can mention the ones that have, or you can see the ones that are closing down. Well, even EPZ, some of them, but the good thing, some of them are moving to Kilifi because probably land is cheaper there or labor is cheaper. So you do not see employments being created. That's why everybody wants to be employed in government, at KPA, at the county. But those jobs are very, very limited.
For someone who grew up in Mombasa in the 1970s and 80s up to 2000, you could sleep in Mwembetari.
Yes.
And there was no fear of anybody attacking you. Now, this turnaround that we now see, and Mombasa had a growth rate. There were jobs. In fact, jobs came a calling. And that's why schools were built, and that's why people went to school. Where did this change come about, and what happened to bring this about? Because somewhere along the line, something happened.
It's difficult to pinpoint.
Yes.
But there are a couple of issues. Drug is definitely one of them. Because even for the hard drugs, it was easy, even the 20, 30 years you're talking about, because of the logistics hub and also tourism, it was easy for drugs to find their ways in the coast more than any other part of the country.
Yes.
So I think it is drugs, but I also put a lot of, I think people did not invest a lot in education. Because when you have an educated lot, then they will be able to fend for themselves. Even if it is not in Mombasa, they can go elsewhere. So I think the investment in education, because if you look at the performance whenever they are releasing results, personally, whenever I visit schools in the coast, I will go and look at what the sheet that they normally put there. You will find that 80% have gotten D plus and D plus DE going down.
See, Mahmoud, I am an educator.
Yes.
I taught in Mombasa. I taught in South the Sea. I taught in Aga Khan. I taught in Kensek.
Yes.
I taught in Burhania Secondary School. I was a headmaster. So, what you're saying, I can identify with up to a point. But during that period of time, when I look back and I remember, parents were eager for their children to go to school.
Yes.
Parents, you could see because of the demand that parents had for admission for their children. But equally important, schools at the coast competed favorably with other schools in the country.
Yes.
Favorably. When you talk about schools that did well and people wanted to go to, there are many schools at the coast that people, precisely. Yes, people wanted to go to. Exactly.
Yes.
So, Star of the Sea. Now, when I ask about the change that took place, I'm looking and I'm asking, what happened to all these locals who did well and even went to university? Did they go back or did they stay away?
I think one thing that has happened, I think most of them moved to Nairobi and out of the country.
Yes.
And you're talking about education. Even look at sports during your time.
Yes.
Or those when you are the headmaster. You look at the national team, almost a quarter or half are from Mombasa.
Yes.
So we were doing very well.
Extremely.
Yeah. I think something happened. Drugs is one of it. Education is another one. But I think this is something we need to have a kongamano and bring everybody together.
Yes.
And see exactly where did we go wrong, because it's difficult to pinpoint this is where the problem is. But what is very glaring is that their times are not very good. Families are struggling. The family unit has broken down. There's a lot of consumption of drugs all over, and when you see that, then you know there's actually a problem. And once you are in drugs, whether you've started Mogoka in school, I don't think whether you'll even complete school, because that is an entry point. Then you'll start doing other drugs slowly. That's why people are dropping every day, and especially the boy child. In fact, if we need to put a lot of effort, is on how we can protect the boy child in the coast. Yeah.
You talked about positives.
Yes.
Right? So Swahili Port, for example, over the last number of years, you have mentored youth. You have seen them come. You have connected them to opportunities. You've given them hope.
Yeah.
Give us some case studies of a positive, positive, start from where this person came in and how they left or how they are.
Maybe just around 150 startups have started out of Swahili Port. This one's through different programs, because we also leverage on partnership, like the Mombasa Plastics Prize, which we just completed. We have the Mombasa Tourism Lab supported by the European Union. So all of them together with the Pitching Thursdays, the Pwani Innovation Week, we are around 150 startups. We have generally given them, through partners, around 46 million, because we do not have funds. If I have to mention some of the companies that have grown, we have Tech Kids Africa, which started from Pitching Thursday. Now they even do stuff in South Africa. They have actually launched a robotics training. They're training teachers all over the coast on robotics. So they are like whenever you're talking about technology for kids, it is Tech Kids Africa. We have 20 Green. They are making desks from recycled plastics. I remember even Charlene Ruto gave them an order and supplied the desk in a school, I think in West Pokot. We have the sensational T-Spice. This is a young girl called Amal who is in Mombasa. She joined us. In fact, I found her one day just staying at the beach, and she didn't look very stable at that time. And then I was asking her what was the issue, and then she joined Swahili Port. She sacrificed her education so that her brothers can complete education. But at Swahili Port, we have given her, in fact, in her own words, because I remember last year we took her to Colombia, even that experience of leaving the country, she has a lot of confidence now. She pitched during the Pwani Innovation Week. She won $5,000 grants from Cloud Factory. So there are a couple of such stories, but what we are looking at is how do we do it at scale. There are those 4 young people that I picked from the streets, smoking a lot of bang at that time.
How old were they?
When I picked them, they were around 18. Yeah, but all the three, there were four. The fourth one came to Nairobi. In fact, I normally see him on Konange Street whenever I come here. But the two are trained sound engineers, courtesy of the French Embassy of French, do a program called CASIC. So they are the ones, whenever you come to Swahili Port, they will do the PA system, the DJing and all that. And they also, the third one is our like a main admin at Swahili Port Hub. I will trust him, like in my car, I will keep things everywhere, even cash, but he will keep them well for me. In fact, I trust him more than probably a lot of other volunteers. So, and what that taught me is you just need to give people an opportunity and trust them.
Yeah.
Once you do that, you will see them differently. And I've also learned not to judge people, because you judge people because of the situations they are in currently, but what is in their heart might be completely different. Yeah.
So I mean, it's obviously clear that there are fundamental issues that need to be dealt with, and so maybe just looking at the top layer is not. Not maybe, for sure. Just looking at the top layer is not sufficient, and so there are mentorship programs that are happening because it is an issue. What would be the need? What's the need now? Because you're doing things there through Swahili Port that, when you talk about the guidance and mentorship, that people themselves are asking for, it's not imposed on them. They're asking for this, and then there are 19,000 people who've passed through. So what would be the need that others would be called upon to say, come on guys, let's fix the problem so we're not dealing with top layer issues?
I think for me, I look at it, for example, like the program that we have started. We have around 170, we call them case managers or mentees. For us, what they are feeling is that the gap that we have seen, where our young people want somebody to take them step by step into the different things, processes of life. The first level that probably they do is that the self-discovery, because if we work on the mindset, you unlock the mindset of a young person, then they can run on their own. So there's a whole curriculum where we start with fixing, letting them know themselves. But for me, Ndu, I think what is important is, can the church play their role? Can the parents do the same? And where we do not have parents, can we have social services to support these people? For us, we are doing what we can, but we can't do it at scale. Government can do it at scale. If people come together, they can do it at scale. So how do we fill that gap of young people who are disgruntled, hopeless, and they need to be supported one way or the other? But I'll go back to the same issue. Can we also highlight the positives? We have a lot of young people doing very good jobs. Can we use them more as role models? Even the ones who are doing, like I know this young man called Abbas, who was in the Wakali Kwanza thing, but now he's one of the role models in Nyeri. Can we highlight them more and showcase them? Because if we highlight the right role models, then we will be able to have impact in the long run. But rally partners. And one of the things that we are very good at Swahili Port is convening partners. We believe we can only succeed through a collaborative network. We have the academia, we have the private sector. In fact, the Chamber of Commerce chapter in Mombasa is in the board of Swahili Port, and we also serve in their board. But maybe the last thing that we have done, and I saw it being very successful, is a pilot on demand-driven skills. Because we have young people who dropped out of school and they cannot go to the university because of either bad grades and all that. But we did a program where we went to the industry. Mombasa is known for tourism, and asked them, what are the gaps that you have? So others said we needed animators, others pizza chefs, others, they gave us all that list. And then what we did, with some funding that we got, we went to Boma and Kenya Methodist University. and we told them, can you curate something that the industry needs? So it becomes like a demand driven.
Right.
So by the time we were finishing that training, 90% already had employment. And the interesting thing, when they were studying at KEMU, they had the student ID for the university. So I could see that
pride.
feeling. Somebody who never thought of being in the university, although it was only 6 months, the graduation, the whole family came.
Maybe Nenda KEMU bana.
Yeah, and the university.
And the university bana.
Yeah.
Mahmood, thank you very much for this conversation. We'll welcome you again to come and tell us more about it. And also maybe one of these days, just come with one of these mentees and let's hear from them. Nice conversation. Mahmood Noor is the founder and chief mentor at Swahili Port Hub Foundation in Mombasa, 9 a.m.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Kenyans have been urged to donate blood for the magistrate who was shot in Makadara Law Courts in an appeal made by the Law Society of Kenya. Male representative at the Judicial Service Commission, Mwanza Mbati, the donation is needed urgently. He said Makadara Principal Magistrate Monica Kivuti is currently admitted at Metropolitan Hospital in Buruburu. Kivuti was shot at the Makadara Law Court after she made a ruling in a case involving a policeman's wife. The judiciary said the magistrate had cancelled the bond for an accused person who had jumped bond and had failed to offer satisfactory explanations for jumping bond. The officer, identified as Samson Kipchirchir Kipruto, who was in charge of a police station in Londiani, pulled out a gun and shot the magistrate, injuring her. Azimio leaders are today expected to address the media at about 10:30 a.m. in Nairobi. The leaders are expected to highlight emerging issues in the budget for the financial year 2024-2025, one day after Treasury CS Njuguna Ndung'u presented it to Parliament. In addition, the leaders will highlight the complex Finance Bill 2024-2025, which has created fear among Kenyans who have opposed the tax increase. Thursday, Kenya leader Martha Karua called the bill oppressive, and it is against the promises made by President William Ruto during his campaign.
This regime is busy making a budget for itself in violation of Article 203 of the Constitution and Article 43. Budget making is about making the right choices that can lead to a much safer Kenya based on a true reference and respect for the people. It is not about funding the executive.
We are seeing a very, very big budget. But again, the budget must also be linked with the revenue.
Kenya owes China 920.52 billion shillings in loans, making it the leading lender by country rankings, even as President William Ruto looks west for more financing and trade cooperation. Official data shows the Asian giant is still a major lender to Kenya, mainly for the development of roads, rails and port infrastructure. China Exim Bank has also financed a large number of key projects in the fields of transportation, clean energy, telecommunication and vocational education, as it remains the third biggest overall lender. This is after the World Bank, whose credit line to Kenya is currently at an estimated 1.8 trillion shillings, and Eurobonds, where the outstanding amount is at 928 billion shillings with maturities stretching to 2048. The country's total debt stood at 10.4 trillion shillings as of March, comprising 5.2 trillion shillings domestic and 5.2 trillion shillings external. Central Bank of Kenya data continues to indicate this. Now, Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has declared Monday, June 17th a public holiday. The holiday has been declared to mark Eid al-Adha. The celebration of Eid al-Adha is to commemorate Prophet Ibrahim's devotion to Allah and his readiness to sacrifice his son Ismail. The Feast of Sacrifice is one of Islam's two most important holidays. It is especially significant because it marks the end of the annual Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, celebrated in the final month of the lunar in the Islamic calendar. Now, President William Ruto and ODM leader Raila Odinga are expected to attend the Nyanza International Investment Conference to be held in Kisumu. Information and Communication Technology CS Eli Dowalo said President Ruto will officially open and give a keynote speech at the conference scheduled on June 28th and 29th. The head of state will lead a team of local and international investors to explore the unexploited potential investment opportunities in the region. Owalo, who was speaking during their preparatory meeting with doctors and health professionals professionals ahead of the conference said he has held talks with Raila, who has agreed to participate in the forthcoming conference. And the police, in collaboration with the Migori County Public Service Board, have arrested a middle-aged man accused of impersonating members of Migori County Public Service Board with the intention of conning job seekers. The County Public Service Board Chief Executive Officer Ndu Okoh said the suspect was arrested around Masara Trading Center in Suna West Sub-County by police officers who were trailing him. He said the suspect is currently in police custody pending arraignment. And a family in Bondo Sub-County is grieving after their kin collapsed and died while testifying in a land succession case at the Bondo Magistrates Court. Openje collapsed around noon and was immediately rushed to a private hospital by his family, where he passed away during treatment. Siaya County Police Commander Cleti Kimayo reported that the incident was initially reported to the Bondo Police Station by Dick Ochiel, the administrator of the Bondo Law Courts. This is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM. Nairobi.
All right. So Ndu has stepped out. She has decided, nothing. She's going to Swahili Pot. This one, Let me tell you what's happening on the roads then. So it's easing up everywhere. Thika Superhighway is good and all the other roads are basically just looking good. There's something on, as you join the outer ring road from Kangunda Road. But other than that, all the others, we're getting off the peak traffic time.
This is the Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eiric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
9:07, on to the final hour of the Situation Room today. It's Friday, it's the 14th. Later today, Ipra will tell us what's happening to the Bei ya Mafuta. But don't worry about that. Tomorrow, 15th, Sunday, 16th, Day of the African Child. That's a conversation we're going to have next. And then Monday, 17th, and Gigi premieres on Showmax. That story that Ndu has been telling of what happens on Gigi, these young girls who are in Jericho, and one of them, Jules, is the ringleader of this gang, and she is focused. Just like you heard from the conversation we've had with Mahmoud City, that there's a girl who was sitting by the beach just by herself. She's disillusioned, she's feeling, I have no hope, and she gave up going to school so that her sibling could go to school.
And it's clear she wanted to go to school, but she understood the concept and the idea of sacrifice and figured, okay,
there's a price to pay.
Let my brother go to school.
Yeah.
You see, for someone who actually taught in Mombasa and who taught in a girls' school like I did, and you understand the aspirations that parents had for their children to get a good education.
Yeah.
And how it is, the pride that parents had, you'd see it on Parents' Day and on Prize Giving Day. Just the number of parents who'd come and how they wanted their children to learn. When you see the decline in education, your heart bleeds.
Yeah.
Because essentially you are seeing the decline of an entire community.
Yep.
That's what you're seeing.
It means that parent who had hope no longer exists.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because it's a parent who does not see the value of education, so not really pursuing to take the child to school.
No.
So they already have lost
So you actually wonder what happened to them. And you know, the generation of students whom I taught would be the parents of these children. Okay? So you wonder, but they went to school. What happened?
What happened?
But then you realize that the one thing that clearly has been the bane, the pain and bane, has been the influence of drugs.
Yeah.
It cannot be underestimated. It's not something that you mammy-pamby about. It's something that one has to speak about with clarity. It started influencing this generation of children. It started influencing their parents.
Their parents.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. So anyway, Gigi premieres on Showmax on Monday. Make sure you subscribe ahead of time and watch it. Okay? The tax amnesty program by Kerry is coming to an end on the 30th of June.
Yes,
and
30th
Kerry
of June is 16 days from now.
Imagine.
Yes.
And there are people who've been hearing us talking about this and they're like,
my friend, it is real. The 30th is real. The tax amnesty is real. And the need for you to pay your taxes is real.
Yes.
But it's something that need not be a teeth-pulling exercise. It's something that you can have a conversation about. And that's what Kerry is saying. Call us, come and talk to us so that we can, A, explain to you so that you understand the amnesty.
Yep.
2, explain to you how you can go about creating a payment plan so that the debt you owe is actually paid. Yes. But you have to take that first step of calling 0711 099 999.
0711
099 999.
Bas.
You make that call
today.
Yes.
Take advantage of that.
Yes.
It's called saving. I mean, if that money can be waived, penalty and interest, that's a lot of money.
It is a great deal of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
And speaking of saving money, if you open a savings account with Stanbic today, first of all, so savings account, then also comes the whole package. You can take up even the life insurance package.
Yes, you can.
And you can even take up the retrenchment insurance package.
Yes.
So you have this money, you have a savings account, you have, if you lose your job, in the event you lost a job because of any form of retrenchment, you actually have some security for 3 months.
Yes.
Up to 3 months.
Yes.
Life insurance, in the event something happened to you.
Yes, and that insurance even covers a loan. Should you be in a position where you had a loan with the bank and you've been retrenched, yes, they will also help you in paying back that loan for a certain number of months.
Stanbic is saying make a switch. Another big saving is you're currently maybe thinking of a home loan and you're looking at what the market is offering you, 16, 17, 18% as interest rates. And you're thinking of a long-term loan, 10, 25 years, and you're like, surely 16%, this is too much. Stanbic have a home loan that comes fixed at 9.5% for the duration of that loan. You take a home loan with Stanbic Bank, it's 9.5% today, it'll be 9.5% 25th year if you take the entire 25 years.
Yes.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Savings left, right, center.
Switching has never been better, has it? No.
Make that switch to Stanbic today, 14th, tomorrow, 15th, Sunday, 16th, Sunday, International Day of the African Child. That's a conversation we want to have next. And we're joined by Justice Mahulo, who is the program officer at FAWE. Justice, good morning.
Good morning to you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Nice being here.
Karibu sana.
Nashukuru sana.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
Sure, I'm here. I'm feeling the heat already.
Ndio umeketi.
Kiti kimoto. Shukran.
If you think about heat, let's think about the heat that makes nyama, okay?
Sure.
Nyama namna hii. Fikiria unachoma nyama namna hii.
So delicious.
Yes. Some delicious. Beef. Okay? Ng'ombe, pale Laikipia, you know, grass-fed.
Sure.
You know, kunywa maji ya mto.
Natural.
Very natural water. It's just, you know, overlooking. Ng'ombe naangalia on Mount Kenya.
Mount Kenya.
You know, breeze.
Yes.
Now that ng'ombe is chinjwad. Okay?
Yes.
By Ken Beef. Ken Beef is Ken Beef by Ken Chicks. You know Ken Chicks?
Yes.
Now they have Ken Beef.
Yes.
It comes to the market. Before it arrives at the market, that nyama wet aged for 21 days. My friend, ukienda kwa supermarket uone wet aged beef for 21 days, but canned beef. Nunua. Hii weekend.
Ponyoka nayo.
Wekelea kwa nini hivi sizzling. If you don't want the nyama like that, you want to start early in the morning, breakfast. Sausages.
Sure.
Burger patties.
Sure.
Boerewors.
Yes, so that's what we told they are called, yes.
Or mincemeat. Still available. Canned beef.
Sure.
Canned chicken.
Fantastic.
Kienda supermarket. Nunua. Now, listen to Mr. City Muga here. He is going to give you the day's proverb. This week, the proverbs are from the Republic of Zambia. Today's proverb, he is going to give you, and listen to it carefully and give us your interpretation of it. Ready?
Alright.
Yeah.
So, don't start a fight just because your companion is strong.
Don't start a fight
just because
your companion
is strong.
Wow. From the Republic of Zambia.
Yes.
A good one. In a daily life situation, we are faced with different circumstances. Could it be a hardship? Could it be a fun moment? And I think my pick and interpretation is that I should always keep my guard before engaging into something. Whether I'm fighting for my brother, fighting for myself, fighting for my sister, I need to keep my guard. Such that I'm at a level where I'm able to defend myself properly.
You know, one of the joys we have in asking our guests to interpret a proverb, guests will come up with interpretations you would never have thought of. And you say, oh yeah.
Makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense, yes.
Sure.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for that quiz.
Asante.
Asante.
Just as what is FAWE?
FAWE is a Forum for African Women Educationalists. Specifically Kenya chapter. Yes.
Forum for African Women Educationalists. What is educationalist? Who's that?
Educationalist, this is an association. This is a group of very strong women way back in 1990, in the 90s. These are women ministers who came together. They were in a foreign country for a conference, an educational conference. And they thought, yes, of course they are from Africa, and they thought of coming up with an organization. That is why they derived the name the educationalists. They are professionals in the education sector.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do they do?
Basically, the Forum for African Women Educationalists, we have the Kenya chapter, and by extension, the regional secretariat or the African office. The focus of FAWE is to promote quality education among girls and boys across Africa. When I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about 33 countries in Africa. Yes, and I talked about the chapters. We have 34 chapters. Mainly education for the girls and boys, quality education.
So it's for girls and boys.
Programmatically, 70 to 80% girls, and then 20 or 30 to 20% boys. We can't move the agenda of education, we can't move the agenda of development without inclusion. Of course, FAWE is a feminist organization, and we focus also now empowering the boy child. Yes, I know there's a debate around boy child.
Of course.
Exactly.
I can see the point when these women leaders were actually meeting and what they were dealing with. They were looking at their own experience, how they ended up, how they went through education.
Yes.
Looking back and seeing how many girl classmates they had.
Yes.
How many girl classmates and contemporaries who dropped out of school for whatever reason.
Yes.
Others were married off, others, just for many reasons.
Sure.
And that they ended up being maybe the few who got to where they got to.
True.
And I can see them coming together and saying, you know what, we've got to promote so that more girls start and finish school.
Sure.
I'm sure that situation has changed. Now we have many more girls who start and finish school. So is the vision still the same? Has it changed? Or are we still focusing on 70 to 80% of quality education for the girl child?
As we rightly, thank you so much. As we rightly point out, quite a lot of strides have been made. Progress has been made, but the vision still remains. Why is it remaining? It is remaining because we are looking at the vulnerabilities of girls across Africa and back home in Kenya. the issues of teen pregnancy. Look at the Kenya Demographic Health Survey report of 2022. Major on the agenda, teen pregnancy is still on the rise. It's still at that high level that we need to really address. Look at issues of FGM. A number of policies, a number of initiatives have been put forth. But FGM is still being practiced illegally. Of course, that's an illegal act. Look at issues of child marriage. It's still an issue affecting girls. Look at the issue of gender-based violence by extension. If you fight a couples fight, those who are greatly affected are the children, specifically girls and boys. Girls, they're affected. So the vision, as you rightly point out, it's still the same, and we are still focusing, but we are hopeful that we'll be able to make that difference. But again, we still appreciate the strides that have been made so far. Yes.
Many of those issues that you've talked about are cultural.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Early marriage, FGM, they're very cultural. So how do you approach this?
Cultural issues, they need a multi-sectoral approach. For FAWE Kenya, how we approach it, of course, now through our program called Imarisha Msichana, which is funded by MasterCard Foundation. We are working in 20 counties, and our focus is to give them the voice. Our key focus, to give the girls the voice to speak out. We have a model called Tusimi. Tusimi is a Swahili word, specifically, meaning let's speak out. Now, we work in schools. We work across the 20 counties. We work with 160 primary and secondary schools. And in those schools, across board, we have established Tusimi clubs. Tusimi clubs is basically giving the girls the platform to speak out, both the girls and boys, to speak out now those cultural issues. Of course, they stem from a culture perspective. So they are able to speak. We have empowered them that they are able to speak, they are able to articulate, they are able to share. And also now from the school, we engage with the community, where we have what we call community engagement. In community engagement, we work with the different stakeholders, the parents, the caregivers, the national government units, the law enforcement agencies, the other stakeholders, in terms of having a conversation around those cultural issues and how best we address them.
I have to ask this question. When you say speak out,
yes,
are we presupposing that they ordinarily cannot speak out and so need to be empowered? One, and to speak out about what specifically? You say culture is broad.
Yes.
What is this thing that they have not been able to speak about clearly or loudly enough, so that now it is when that they're being empowered to speak out? What is it?
Thank you so much. We empower, of course, we are from a patriarchal society, where the man's voice or the boy's voice, from an early age, we are socialized. The girls and boys the girls have been socialized not to speak, to keep silent. Their place is the kitchen. Their place is that level. So here we are talking about speak out. We are giving and also amplifying the girl's voice on the issues of teen pregnancy, issues of teen marriage or teenage marriage, issues of gender-based violence. We are giving an opportunity for the girls and also by extension the boys to articulate those issues from their surrounding, from their community, from their families. Now at school level, we'll bring them to a level where they are able to articulate, to be able to speak freely. Speaking out is not at FAWE Kenya. We are at FAWE. We don't have an injection, but this is a mentorship program where they are trained on issues of being assertive, being able to express themselves, being able to articulate those issues. Because many times these are those when girls were socialized that they cannot speak out, they cannot express themselves. They are kind of suppressed.
You know, I hear what you're saying, and I've always found that particular idea or that concept interesting in this sense.
Yes.
When people talk of traditions, they assume as though it's one blanket, or culture is one blanket norm and way in which Africans went about their business. And they seem to exclude the very natural process of evolution, where even culture, given the dynamism within it, changes over time. Because if you actually look at the patriarchal society you speak of,
yes,
and alongside it you say women were disempowered and could not speak, it's not entirely true. Speaking didn't mean, you see, when you say speaking, now we are speaking, okay?
Yes.
But I think there's a larger conversation of communication. Women had roles, their roles in society, and issues that mattered, they could articulate them. The manner in which they did it was not necessarily speaking out in public or saying it, but there are ways in which, given, again, that same system, I'll give you an example. If you look at the role that elderly women had in many communities, many of these elderly women were even more powerful than many of the men. They didn't speak out loudly. You didn't see them taking the role, role of men, but their place and their roles were entrenched, and it was clear. So if one understood the process through which you communicated something, because there was a process. You have an issue, this one you take to such and such an individual, this one you go through this channel, meaning there was even a structure within it. Now, what I believe you're speaking of is the breakdown of that particular structure over time, when we believe we became modern, and then we started inculcating other cultures that were not originally ours. And so in this process, some of those structures got lost. So now there's a need to reimagine and recreate a process by which communication can actually be effective. I believe that is what you at FAWE are doing.
Yes, by extension, by large extension, that is the model, and that is the approach. And rightly, as you point out, what we are saying as FAWE in this particular arrangement is to break those barriers, the barriers that were not allowing the girls and those young women to express themselves. Of course, it has a lot to do with the communication. Of course, structurally, by then, that is what used to happen. But again, now with the culture and the pros and the lifestyle is evolving. And we are in a fast moving world where we are looking at girls and young women taking an active role, taking a proactive role in their development. We're talking about accessing education for their development. So that particular process, we think and we believe as FAWE that we need to accelerate. But of course, again, breaking those barriers of communication. Yes. Yeah.
You know, over time, things change.
Yes.
The founders of FAWE, again, I want to go back into, at the moment of founding FAWE, there were challenges and there were the duty bearers then. And then now we have the same challenges today. So we have today, you have, for example, Tusimi, you're letting girls now feel empowered to speak out, but we still have these challenges in the community, in the society. These challenges, these things that we're talking about, these young children are the children of parents who were taught by these women who founded FAWE.
Yes.
Does it mean that the message did not get through? Because if we talk about early marriages, today's mother allowing her child to get married off early, it's not for lack of exposure or lack of organizations that would have reached her. Today's mother and father allowing their child to go for FGM is not for lack of knowledge that this is now illegal, that there are challenges here. It's not for lack of actually having heard a voice that says FGM is bad. So why do we still have it?
We still have these problems, as we pointed out previously in this debate, is that we have made some strides. We have made some achievement, but a lot needs to be done. What is making this particular process to be a little bit difficult or requiring more intervention, again, is about, of course, the setting or the environmental setting. I'm not talking about the rains and winds and whatever. It's about the cultural setting. For FAWE, we are working with the rural communities, informal settlement, where the perception and the attitudes of the parents and the caregivers has not yet changed fully. Yes, there's a lot of information around these issues we're talking about, child marriage, FGM, teen pregnancy, but the attitude and the perception has not yet changed. And it is a gradual process that FAWE Kenya and, of course, other stakeholders, we are still accelerating. I'm deliberately using the word accelerating because we have to move with a little bit higher level of speed for us to be able to achieve what we have to achieve or make that particular significant change. Again, of course, there are policies. For example, in school, in the education sector, we have the re-entry policy. We have the Anti-FGM Act. But that information has not trickled down to the grassroots, to the common mwananchi, to the common mama, to the common old man, who is supposed to be the consumer and the key actor in that particular process. So a lot needs to be done around the community engagement and also involving the male champions. Of course, I talked about the issues of patriarchy. We have to bring on board men. We have to bring on board the boy child to be an active participator in this particular process. So those are some of the issues that are still making this particular process not yet done until it is done.
Okay.
Yes.
We're having a conversation ahead of the International Day of the African Child on Sunday, and one organization that really, really champions the plight and the right of the African girl child, and just African child in total, even the boy, is FAWE. The Forum of African Women Educationists Kenya chapter. They're here, represented by Justus Mahulo, who is a program officer. This conversation continues shortly. It's 9:30. The Situation Room, live on SpiceFM, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok, and everywhere else, including Radio Garden.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
The man who looks at a beautiful girl and doesn't talk to her will end up serving lunch at her wedding.
City, do like that.
My father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man?
Amewapanya.
Small mammal, big mammal.
Mtu atamshinda.
What are we comparison? I mean, you kill a mouse.
What do they say?
What they're saying is, my father has killed a mouse. Will he fail to kill a man? Name, surprise. Someone's name.
The name surprised you?
No, the name is surprise.
No, what am I saying? I'm from Nigeria, man. I met somebody called I Believe. So I was like, your name is I Believe? Yes, my name is I Believe. But that's the short form. I said, excuse me? I said, yes, my name is I Believe. So what's the full name? I believe in the goodness of
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
The weather with SpiceFM.
9:30, the sun is out in Nairobi. Current temperature 16. It's going to rise to 24 later today. Mombasa, partly sunny, highs of 31. Malindi, mostly sunny, highs of 30. Nakuru, sunny at 26. Nyeri, sunny at 23. Kakamega, sunny at 29. Eldoret, sunny at 25. Kampala, sunny at 28. Johannesburg, sunny at 19. Lagos, mostly cloudy at 30. Mogadishu, sunny at 31. Addis Ababa, sunny at 23. Dar es Salaam, sunny at 31. Paris, sunny at 22. New York, clear skies at 29. London, partly sunny at 18. And Beijing, mostly sunny at 35.
Spice up your life.
Watu wa Umoja One hapo at the junction between Kangundo Road and Outer Ring Road near the fire station there. Something's happening. If it's matatus, can they move? Because they're creating some backlog there. Landis Road getting into Haile Selassie Avenue is busy. So all the roads that are now busy are heading towards town. But Limuru Road is busy along the 1st and 2nd Parklands Avenue. Wambogo Road and 1st Parklands Avenue. Busy into 2nd Parklands Avenue is busy. That's Limuru Road. They're making it a dual carriageway, so I think some work's going on there. That's causing it. The other issues would be on Parklands Road, getting into the Sarit Center Triangle, busy on all sides, including on Ring Road Parklands.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, so we continue our conversation with Justice Mahulo, who is the program officer at FAWE, ahead of the International Day of the African Child. That's going to be commemorated on Sunday. FAWE works very much in promoting the right of the African child. Justice,
thank you.
Statistics show that when it comes to teenage pregnancies, yes, we have those counties that you'd think are still traditionalists, they're still practicing FGM, and then have early marriages happening. Okay? But then there's some counties that stand out, and you ask yourself, what's happening? Nairobi has highest statistics of teen pregnancies. Then you have western counties like Bungoma, like Kakamega.
Mm-hmm.
You have counties like Machakos. Then you have coastal counties. Why are we seeing such incidences of teenage pregnancies? Why? It is not because of early marriage, because these girls who are getting pregnant are not getting married off.
Mm-hmm.
They're just getting pregnant. So what is it? What is the cause here? And is FAWE doing a program around this to address making sure that these children are not getting pregnant and that they stay in school?
Thank you. One of the contributing factor of that scenario, and indeed true statistics, they say statistics do speak, and those are not merely numbers. They represent human beings, people, and specifically the young girls who are supposed to be the future generation, future mothers, future professionals, and future good people. One is the fact that parents and caregivers have relegated their responsibility. They are not taking an active role in modeling, in parenting. Of course, somebody will argue when you have a child, you don't get a manual, you don't have a manual on how to parent.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we'll argue around the cultural setting. But most importantly, parents and caregivers have relegated that particular responsibility, so children are not being taken care of as required. For example, there's a lot of debate in terms of looking for the livelihood, making the ends meet. Parents and the caregivers are running up and down to make sure they put food on the table. So parental responsibility is an issue. The children have been left literally on their own.
Where are these people? Nairobi, I can see, because of the urban nature of Nairobi, that the parents would be out for most of the day trying to get something fending for the children. In these rural counties,
counties,
where are the parents going?
Parents are getting to, of course, leaving their children with the care of an adult. They are leaving them with the care of a grandmother. They are leaving the care of their children to the uncles who are not owning that particular responsibility.
And going where?
Going to different parts of this country to make a living. Yes, sir.
So they've come to the urban areas.
Urban areas, or those who are also going to not necessarily urban areas, but to different parts of this country to look for a means of livelihood. So there's the parental gap.
Are we saying that our rural areas can no longer provide sustainable employment or engagement for people who live there, so that they must leave in order to go somewhere else?
Yes. They can't sustain. The rural to urban migration is still an issue for means of livelihood. We can do research around it.
No, I'm not doubting you.
Yeah.
I'm merely thinking that devolution has brought urbanization closer to most people, most citizens. So are we saying that because of this urbanization, people still feel that if they go to whatever headquarters of whichever county, they are more likely to actually get a means of sustaining themselves?
Yes, that's the case.
You know, it's odd because maybe it's the time and the place and an era, but this subsistence farming that people in the rural areas have been involved in is what enabled them to even send their children to school at some point.
Yes.
It's what enabled them to even eat and be able to sustain themselves. So we are saying essentially that that subsistence farming, which is what most people do in the rural areas, can no longer do this.
Yes, because they were, again, of course, the issue of population. Those farmlands, the farmlands that kind of those days used to sustain, they have been subdivided to accommodate the settlement of the increased population. So that is one of the key factor. And is an area that we need to explore deeply. So that, and then again, rightly as point out the issue of devolution, of course, we do appreciate the importance and the impact of devolution. But again, a lot has not been done in terms of investing in the various counties or the various areas to accommodate and institutionalize the issue of livelihood support. So that again has an impact in terms of the rural to urban migration. Yeah, and of course the other thing is about why this particular the increase of teen pregnancies, the dropping out of school, is about the policies. I talked about, for example, the re-entry policy is in place. The anti-FGM Act is already there, but of course the information has not trickled down for people to be able now to fully understand and embrace, and of course look at now the effective implementation. Of course the policies are there, but now the challenge that the issue that needs to be put into focus is about the effective implementation of those policies, such that they are able to yield the intended results. The re-entry, of course, as far away. Of course, I talked about engaging with the different stakeholders. We've been able to engage with the community, engage with the different players to be able, especially the school heads and also the board of management, in terms of disseminating that particular policy, and also maybe looking at how best they support, and also they support the re-entry of teenage mothers back to school, which has substantially yielded some good results. But a lot again needs to be done, because if statistically, if you look at, for example, in Nairobi, the year 2023, there's reported the cases of over 100,000 teen mothers who are out here. And out of that, a small percentage that were able to re-enter back to school. So that means we need to really look at how best deliberately have interventions to re-enter the teen mothers back to school, with the support from the Ministry of Education, from the support of other like-minded organizations like FAWE and other civil society organizations.
I'm not sure I actually get the connection. So, for example, let's take the county of Bungoma.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Very high numbers of teen pregnancies.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
If we just start from what we thought was the cause, that maybe, the parent, the mother figure, the father has moved out and left the children, and the children are being taken care of by a relative who is not very strict. So he's not really taking care of watching whether these children are going to school or not.
Yes.
So in that, delinquence forms in, and then these teenagers become pregnant. Okay? If that is the cause, it shows that there's a breakdown. That the guardian has absolutely no control, or does not really take their responsibility seriously of taking care of this teenager to make sure that the teenager is going to school. So upon getting pregnant and giving birth, it's the same guardian who's expected now to take care of the teenage mother's child, so the teen mother can go back to school. It will not happen.
Quite an interesting scenario.
Yeah.
And that's why we are saying as FAWE, we are saying we are engaging with the caregiver or the parents of the teen mothers. We have programs in terms of, we have what we call community forums and sensitization events that we bring on board the caregivers or the parents of these particular teen mothers to a conversation where we are saying, yes, this particular girl or this is a teen mother, she has, so to speak, she has made a mistake. She has erred. She has had a child. But there's a second chance as provided for by the Ministry of Education through the re-entry policy that this girl needs to go back to school. Why go back to school? Because there is a future. They say education is the key. As for Kenya, we believe education is a tool to be able to fight, to conquer poverty, conquer the social issues. From there, of course, we engage with the schools. I talked about 160 schools hosting our Tusimi clubs. the schools, with the understanding of the re-entry policy, they create an enabling environment to accommodate these particular girls. But again, we're also taking cognizance of the fact that there is the livelihood aspect. This is the same caregiver of the parent who needs to meet the needs of the grandchild and vis-a-vis the daughter. Now for FAWE Kenya, we have what we call a livelihood program where we provide the initial support for the teen mothers in terms of livelihood activities that the caregivers and the parents are engaged in to allow this particular teen mother go back to school.
Yeah.
So that is the kind of intervention we do as an organization. But again, as we also look at the other opportunities that will be there. For example, not all the teen mothers that we support are in second school. We have what we call TVET. They can still go learn a skill, such that now they can be able to build a career. They can also be able to build a profession out of that particular skill. So it's a whole conversation and a creative way of looking at it. Not necessarily the issue of like, okay, you have to be in school. Caregiver take this, or the parent take this particular responsibility. We have to engage, such that there's always the appreciation that yes, this particular teen mother needs an opportunity to get back to school. So it's a whole conversation.
You know, the work that FAWE is doing is remarkable.
Thank you.
What I haven't heard you talk about, if indeed you have that aspect in your intervention, the preventative aspect, because the girls don't get pregnant on their own. And since you say very correctly and well that you work with both young men and young women, both boys and girls, what are the processes or the interventions that you have to try and ensure that these young people are educated, these young people, whatever process you need to understand so that these pregnancies do not occur?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mentioned about Tusimi clubs.
Yes.
Tusimi clubs speak out. It is an empowerment model. Now in Tusimi, we provide what we call the mentorship sessions, where we're able to engage with the different club members, both girls and boys, in terms of now having a talk and conversation in terms of understanding the human sexuality, or providing the age-appropriate information so that they're able to understand their developmental stages, the growth, the changes that do occur, such that they're able to understand themselves and also now focus on their education. So through Tusimi, we do the mentorship and the human sexuality activities. Additionally, we also have what we call the external facilitators or resource persons who come on board away from or in addition to the guiding and counseling interventions at school level. That is a mainstream department. So we have resource persons who also come on board to be able to talk to them, also provide the required information. For example, you can get to a community or get to a school community that maybe they need an aspect on issues of drug and substance abuse, issues of relationship. So we bring on board different resource people to be able to talk to them in terms of building their capacity to understand these issues from that particular level, such that they appreciate what also they need to do. Number 3, we work closely we are creating what we call the male champions. Male champions, right? We work with the mixed schools. So male champions at primary level, we have the boys involved. At high school level, we also have boys included. That is now the school setting. But at the community level, I talked about now working with the different stakeholders. Majority, 90% men. For example, in one of our interventions, we do what we call boys and young men forums. These are 3 days event where we bring on board different categories of male stakeholders, ranging from the government, community where we have the caregivers and the parents. We have the border borders. You must have had this discussion that border borders do contribute a lot to issues of teen pregnancy, child marriage. So we bring on board the border borders, the religious leaders, and the religious organizations on board. We have the teachers, we have the Ministry of Education officials, we have the national government administration officers, we have the opinion leaders. Maybe what we have not done, maybe including the politicians, male politicians, into this particular conversation, so that we are able to discuss these issues, human sexuality, how to support girls and boys' education, so that we have a candid discussion or we have had kind of discussion around with them, such that they become part and parcel of this conversation, such that again they don't look at it. It's not perceived to be a FAWE affair. Yes, the initiative is from FAWE with the support from donors, but again, we are putting that conversation at the bare base in terms of other stakeholders are be able to appreciate. And one of the lessons we have learned is that many times the focus of male team members would say, "Oh, we thought this is a women affair."
Yeah.
So kumbe tuko na mahali tunaweza ingilia na tukafanya mchango. So, and that has has come out of the border teams that we have worked with, such that we experience change of perception and that participation. Yeah.
In the previous hour, we had a conversation with a gentleman called Mahmoud Noor. He's a founder of Swahili Port Hub in Mombasa.
I've heard about it.
And he was telling us about how they have been mentoring young men and women at Swahili Port Hub. But also one of the things that he observed is that the boy child in the coast is almost like left alone. So if you look at just enrollment in the coast, girls are enrolled and staying in school, boys are dropping out of school. And then they end up into drugs, they end up into crime, they end up just without hope, as he put it. Yeah. Are you doing anything to
yes.
actually look at the plight of the boy child in some of these communities?
Yeah, thank you. We are doing something. The answer is yes. We are doing something as FAWE Kenya in terms of including boy child and young men into this particular conversation. How we are involving them? One is to make it. We have made it deliberate among our Tusimi clubs across board, where we have mixed schools, boys and girls. We deliberately target that at least 30% or 40% of the Tusimi club the club members are boys. We are bringing on board the boys also to understand the plight of the girls. We are including boys and young men through the community conversation in terms of being champions and advocates of girls' education. But again, I know the question is inclined towards what is it that we have for the boys as a specific constituent of our programming. What I've mentioned is the direction we are taking, but also we are taking into consideration that the plights and challenges of boys need to be looked at more critically. And lately in our activities, we have the other day, we marked the international, on 28th, the International Menstrual Hygiene Day, where we are providing sanitary towels for the girls. As we do that, with their support from other partners, we are talking about providing those basic necessities like the innerwears, what we call the famous boxers, also to the boys, such that there is that level of inclusion. But over and above, as FAWE Kenya, we are looking at how to do programming deliberately targeting the boys or the boy child. Yeah.
Who are the partners you work with? Because everything you've described is not easy, neither is it simple. And they are institutions or organizations that have been doing some of the things that you say you are doing. So in the various counties where you work, which are these organizations that you partner with? And as a strategy and as a plan, what do you see as the desired end to all these projects and processes that you have?
Okay, thank you. Two in one. One, in terms of the partners, we work directly with of course, government. There are two levels of government, county government and national government across the 20 counties. We work very closely because our programs are around education, the Ministry of Education across the 20 counties. The Ministry of Education, very closely, the county directors of education, for purposes of supporting and also supporting the policies and enhancing the technical support to our programs. We work with the Teacher Service Commission. Of course, the Minister of Education is in charge of the school infrastructure. The Teacher Service Commission, in terms of engaging with the teachers and having the establishment of Tusimi clubs within those schools and having the patrons or the teachers from those schools being patrons to patronize the Tusimi clubs. We work closely with the Department of Gender gender issues. That is the department we're working with. We also work very closely with in Nairobi County, now this specific Nairobi County, with the department, Minister of Health, / Minister of Education. There's a unit called the School Health Program. So in Nairobi County, we are working with that particular unit, basically to support some of intervention, because with the school health program, they have 8 thematic areas which are in line with our programs and activities. Across the counties, we work with other civil society organizations. For example, like as we are speaking today, for Nairobi County, we are marking the Day of the African Child. And we have different stakeholders being part of puzzle of this initiative. We have,
so there's a celebration today?
Yes, there's a celebration.
Okay.
Yeah, for Nairobi. So we have different stakeholder partners. We have the World Vision, Toto, we have Slum Child also being on board, and of course the other partners across the specific counties that I'm not really mentioned, each and everyone individually. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. At the national level, there is the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
That has the Council for Children. What's the council called?
National Council of Children's Services.
Yeah. So the National Council of Children's Services is like the overall body looking at all these things. Is there a coordinating framework or coordination framework that says everybody who is working and has programs that are targeting or geared towards children will have a dashboard where we can all see this is what FAWE is doing, this is what World Vision is doing, this is what Leam Toto is doing, this is what everybody else is doing, so that you then harmonize your efforts? Is there anything like that?
Okay. Yes, I'm aware. There's that. Then we have the National Council for Children's Services at the national level. But I think at my position, or at the position of FAWE Kenya, I would say we are partners. We work with them. And maybe I would not, because it is a government arm. I don't have the authority maybe to speak on their behalf. But as far as our mandate is concerned, we link up with the National Council of Children's Services in terms of our programming.
Do you think it would be important to have one coordinating framework? So let's say you're going to Kilifi County or whatever, whichever county.
Yes.
Let as you're going in, you know who else is here.
Yes.
And what they're doing.
Yes.
So you know where to plug in.
Yes.
You're not just coming to duplicate, because you see this a lot with very many public benefit organizations. You've come into a community, somebody else has come into a community, they were not aware you were there, they're not aware of what you've been doing.
Sure.
And you find a duplication of resources, which leads to wastage.
True.
How can this be better coordinated?
Well, as you point out, as you have rightly pointed out, of course, there's that need for a well coordinated structure in terms of all our programs. When I say all, FAWE Kenya plus other stakeholders, to be able to synergize on the resources, the human capacity, on the technical aspect, such that we address, because at the end of the day, we don't have the FAWE child or this other organization child. We have the Kenyan child who is supposed to benefit. So it is very important to have that coordinated kind of mechanism in place, such that we work from a background of supporting each other and synergizing on what we have.
What would the challenge be?
Of course, maybe, the challenge would be in terms of course, we, as different partners, we have different goals and objectives. That being, of course, for us, we'll be talking about quality education for the Kenyan girl and Kenyan boy. Maybe another partner will be talking about the welfare. Maybe the other partner will be talking about this and that. So in terms of harmonizing all this, it could bring in a bit of
so there'll be clashes.
A bit of it. But when we have a coordinated mechanism, I believe those issues will be ironed out, so that I'm able to know. For example, if you gave an example of Kilifi, if I'm getting to Kilifi, I'm talking about education. These are the intervention. We have these other partners doing also in education. Then we harmonize such that we are able to contribute to a common goal at the end of the day.
So today, you and other partners and Nairobi City County have some celebrations. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have the day. Of course, the national day is on a Sunday, and as one of the organizers and participant of the Day of the African Child, we thought it wise. Of course, there's a coordinating body, a planning committee body, and I happen to be one of the members. I'm not the chairperson, but I'm a member. So we have, looking at the dynamics around partners and the day falling on a Sunday, we thought we have this particular day on this day, 14th. So it is being held at St. John's Catholic Church, primary school in Korogocho, that's Kariobangi. And the focus here, we are talking about accelerating education. The theme of the event is education for all African children in Africa. So that is the event we are marking. But again, of course, I know on Sunday there will be the national, which will be held in Taita Taveta. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody's welcome to come to Korogocho today at St. Paul's.
Yes. It's on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Asante sana.
Shukran.
And today, we wish you all the best. Sunday as well, as we all mark the Day of the African Child. All the best to FAWE and all the other partners in what you're doing.
Thank you.
Justice Mahulo is the program officer at FAWE, the Forum for African Women Educationists Kenya chapter. He's been our guest talking about Day of the African Child and what FAWE has been doing in support of making sure that the children in Africa, in Kenya specifically, are getting their rights. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. Have a lovely weekend. Naona kama wanasema mountain holiday. Long weekend. Enjoy your long weekend with Ken Beef from Kenchik.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. As well, leaders are today expected to address the media at around 10:30 a.m.